Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day. Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. Spencer Israel, Joel Elconin, Dennis Dick with you this morning. You know, there are days that are quiet. There are days with not a lot of news. Then there are days that are the exact opposite of that. Today is one of those days. We got a lot going on this morning. We're going to talk Virgin Galactic. You know it. Richard Branson going to space sooner than Bezos. We're going to talk about Didi. What a rug pull on this Didi IPO. Oh, my gosh. We're going to talk about that. We, of course, have the jobs number at 8:30, so a lot to get to on today's show. Two guests on the docket. First up at 8:35, we'll be joined by Markus, Heitkoetter, as we are every Friday. He's the founder of Rockwell Trading. And at 9, we've got a new guest. Benzinga's newest contributing writer, Sam Corey, will help us break down the jobs number at 8:30. Before I throw it to Joel, a couple of quick housekeeping items. First, drop us a like if you could. We'd appreciate that. Second thing, if you want to comment in chat, just go ahead and subscribe to Benzinga on YouTube, and then you'll be able to comment in the chat. And my third thing, I'm forgetting what it was. Oh, that's right. Today's show, wow, weird that I forgot that. Today's show is sponsored by Rockwell Trading. To learn more, go to rockwelltrading.com/Benzinga. Let's throw it to Joel now. Joel, good morning. How we doing? What's up?
Same old story. Strong close, held the close at 1075, and we're trading up 5 3/4 handles. No resistance, because there is no resistance. They're going to take that word out of the technical analysis books. Crude, after a big day yesterday, giving back 42 cents here at 74.82. New high. High close for the move. Where was that? We'll be keeping an eye on 75.23. So if you get back up there, that was the close from yesterday. Gold, undercut and rally. We talked about it. Up $9, 17.85.80. Silver in the green by 18 cents at 26.28. Bitcoin just hanging out around 33K, down $70, 32,960. And 58.25 is how much Ethereum's down. It's at 20, 50, 75, and those charts are looking okay. But today's lesson is going to be, if you're an after-hours trader,
trades headlines.
You don't take lunch. You don't take dinner. You don't leave until 8 o'clock. That's our lesson.
I made a very expensive sandwich last night. My wife was, and it just works out this way. Often my wife does make me dinner. Because I trade the after hours and I'm busy, and usually we eat around 5 or 5:30. But anyways, she had taken the kids swimming, and I hadn't, just out at the beach, and I hadn't eaten yet. So it's actually exactly at 6:14, I decide I'm kind of hungry. I'm gonna go up and make myself a sandwich. So I leave my desk for literally 4 minutes. I come back down, and my filters are lighting up space, and I'm like, the hell happened? And I look at space, and it's up $3. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I go back to the clock, and I'm looking. I was like, 6:15. Look at your Benzinga Pro. 6:15. Bring it up, Mr. Israel. Bring it up. Yep. I take my dinner break literally right before. It was before you were trying to write it on the chart. It was before the move even started. But you can bring up space last night. 6:15:00. Virgin Galactic announced its first fully crewed space flight. That's going to be a bullish headline. Anyways, I trade headlines. If I would have saw that headline, I definitely would have bought myself some space, but I decided not to come back down until 6:19, literally 4 minutes after, obviously, the headline broke, and the stock was already trading at $46. So we go back to look at the clock, and this is a good conversation here, too, because the first thing you said, the algorithms would have been all over that. And I hadn't looked at the tape, but I was like, I highly doubt the algorithms are all over that, because think about, how do you write that? How do you code that? How do you code for Branson going to the moon or into the the moon being? How do you code that? Usually, when you're doing algorithmic trading, I've done algorithmic trading for 15 years. I'm not a coder, but I can manipulate code. But I've hired coders. I've had 4 coders working for me. I've done a lot of algorithmic trading over my years. How do you engineer the code to cover a headline like that?
You write.
I'll ask you.
You write the chat. You write a string that says if read a press release, Branson going to space. Then
yeah. You wrote that for the last 15 years. It finally paid off. Yeah. So you spent $100,000 writing that code, and it finally pays off today. Last night.
I just want to clarify
hard thing to code.
Dennis, it worked before. It's worked before, though. This is not the first time that it worked.
I'm going to tell you. You can bring up the tape. Out of all the people in this world, how many people are in this world?
Couple trillion. I have no idea.
Oh, how many people are in the world total?
The population.
What's the population of? Go ask Siri.
Population,
population
of 7.6 billion. I just Googled.
What is it now?
7.6 billion.
7.6 billion people.
Yeah.
Out of 7.6 billion people, how many do you think executed their orders to buy space milliseconds after that headline broke? I'm asking, how many people?
Can we look? Probably no one.
0. Do you know when the first trade occurred after that headline?
Tell us.
8 seconds.
It
took 8
eternity.
seconds.
I know.
That means there is 0 people in the whole world that have that coded. Why? Because it's hard. How would you code that? How would you code a random headline like that? You can't. That's why there's still a place for human beings still to trade, and that we haven't been driven out of jobs from algorithms. There's no way to code that. You could say, oh yeah, you could code Branson, but when were you going to execute? You finally got an execution on that? You're going to code every single stock, 6,000 stocks for random single events on each individual stock. When you're coding, you're looking for keywords like guidance, earnings. If you're doing a news reading, you're looking for, positive headline, positive drug trial. You could be looking for the negative headlines too to get short. Upgrade, downgrade. That stuff's easy to code. Branson going to space? No. Nobody coded. So everybody who's giving me an answer, well, if you would have had that answer yesterday,
no one's giving us an answer.
You've been making some money.
Yeah, well, actually, Millie Mo does have a good point. The modern day algos are right there. It's all machine learning. It's all AI. So it learns from previous examples. So Joel's point, or whoever made the point that I think was someone in the chat, that this wasn't even like that new of a headline. The actual headline we're referring to last night was that Richard Branson's going to space when? July 11th. That's the date. It's 9 days before Bezos is supposed to go on his adventure. So that was the headline from last night, right? The timing, July 11th.
Wow.
We have a date. That's the reason for the move.
And it's a big move. And it was a no-brainer headline if you're reading as a human being.
Oh,
you're like, buy stock. But I'm 3 minutes away because I decided to eat my sandwich at that time. But even if I would have came down like a minute sooner or ate my sandwich a minute later, it would have been great. Went up to make it. But, you're looking 44. Well, that's still pretty good. 45 still pretty good. 46. I come down to 46 is like, okay, well, hindsight capital is 2020. It's 53. Why did you buy it? I mean, Branson, you knew eventually he's going to fly to space. Okay, so anyways, I'm just trying to show you that algorithms don't just dominate everything. There was no algorithmic trader that bought that last night, at least according to
point well made. I think also it's just like people, the reason it was so thick is because so many people got stuffed this week. And I'm sure there were like, if this gets to 50, I'm out. You know what I mean? So people probably layered some pretty good offers out there, not thinking that they were going to get hit because some big volume came in there. And you got all the way to 59.33. Now, if I was trading, I would have been stone cold out at
oh yeah, me too.
50.
I wouldn't have made this much
there's
on this
no
trade.
way.
If I bought at 44, if I was lucky enough to come in and quickly process the headline and probably buy at 44, because you could have bought that about 30 seconds later, I'd probably been selling 46 and 47. Because I wasn't willing to buy 46, so I probably would have definitely been selling 46. Some people have been like, and I've been like, good trade, $2-3. But 53. So what do you do this morning? I'll throw it to you, Joel. You can use your pre-market analysis. Where the stock. How high has it been? First of all, how high did the stock get?
It got through that double top by a little bit. So
what's the high?
59.33.
It almost went to $60.
Yeah.
That person is, I think, going to lose money. I think it's safe to say they're already down significantly. I think they're going to lose a lot more money. So this is a headline. This is great news. It's good news. But I mean, you've got a company that is planning on sending people to space. It's not out of the realm of thought that maybe we're going to start by sending the person who owns the company up to space. It's not like groundbreaking information. It's just like, okay, well, we're getting going. So this is a very similar headline to the headline that we got when we gapped up from $42. So we have precedence now. So it's a very similar headline to June 24th. The night of June 24th, or was it June 25th, Spencer?
Oh, good question.
When you had the approvals. The approvals.
Yeah, the FAA approval. It was June 20. Scroll down to my Benzinga
Maybe the
Pro.
4th.
24th. It was the morning.
Yeah.
The morning.
So the next day you get the huge pop. We're getting the exact same move. We have precedence here. That move did not hold. It held for a day and it actually continued higher.
Excellent point.
Yeah, we have precedence here. I don't know if it's going to get back. I don't think it's getting back to 59. That morning when it was 49, I was like, I'd be selling the pop. It went to 57. So I would have been selling way too soon. But it did come back in 3-4 days later. I think we look at this 3-4 days later, it's going to give it back. So if I was in this, I think it's a gift.
I'll give a couple, like, these are just scenario analysis. How do you know Bezos is going? Screw that, man. Can you get it going so we can go a day ahead? I mean, I'm not.
What's Bezos' stock, Mitch? Symbol.
Not public. It's not public.
Not public.
No, I think it is.
No, I think it's not.
Mitch.
Astria is going to be one that could move. The ASTR could move on it today. Not Bezos.
Is that Bezos is involved in that one?
No. His company's Blue Origin.
Yeah. Okay.
So
but
this one could move on today. Story? So you're talking about a similar space rocket kind of stock. I do think this one could move today. Also, ASTS has also been moving. This is causing the whole space industry to kind of move. So keep your eyes on different space stocks today. It could be that space goes down, but other ones get a lift.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Sometimes you get that gap closing where you had this crazy pop. It was up at 40% at one time, SPCE. It's come off the highs significantly already, only up 23%. But yeah, great point here. So at ASTR is a sympathy play. We know you've given us MAXR before, MAXR, but that's reaching, I think, isn't it, in this case?
Yeah. This is pretty news specific.
Pretty company specific.
Yeah, this is what I would do if I was trading this and no position. I would just do a reset here, and I look at it, and I'd say, okay, there's a double top. All right, first of all, pre-market's high, 59.33. The longer it takes to take that out, the more you're going to be trading on the downside. But that's too far away. So I'll go to the high close of the move right now, and I will focus on that. And I'll say, 55.91 would be a pretty good out. And that was a high close of the move. The other was 54.84. So that's if it starts to roll north, I'd be out there. I'd be out there, trying to sell. The longer it takes to get to any of those levels, if you start leaking down to 52, 51, and it doesn't, get that boost up towards those levels, then I really think it'd be rolling over. Plus, all the people that got stuck this week, they're like, hallelujah. I bought this thing at 50. It went to 43. I thought, what are your weekly option traders? Oh, my 45s are worthless. My 46s are worthless. So, man, there's going to be no more value in those things than on that opening print. And it can even move up a buck or two higher than where you sold it. But if it's at the end of the day, those options are going to be crazy. So,
selling sellers out there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And,
I agree.
Yeah, so
I think it's a pop to sell. We love selling rips. I don't think you get better rips than this. I don't know where the top is. Maybe it retests for all we know, maybe it retests the pre-market high, which is way up at 159. But I think this is a gift. So okay. I think it's a headline that was going to be coming, and everybody got really excited for it. It's no doubt a positive headline, but is it make the company 30% more valuable? Not in my opinion.
Question. All right, we got another good story or another interesting piece of news, Spencer, on Didi.
Yeah, this was unbelievable. So headline breaks this morning that the Chinese government has launched a cybersecurity review on Didi And while the review is in progress, the company is halting new user registration.
Halting new users.
2 days after the IPO.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say this wasn't a coincidence. The timing of this, I'm going to say, was not a coincidence.
You think?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think they waited for the IPO just to say, well, everybody who got an allocation here, there you go. So obviously not good news here for the company. It tanked right on this headline. If we went and looked at the tape on this one, I would imagine you will see algorithmic action on a headline like this, because unlike the space, which was very company specific, China investigation, somebody's probably coded that, because that covers more than one stock. So back to the algorithmic talk. When you have one specific company specific to an event, it's expensive to code. It's time consuming, probably not coded. When you have like Chinese investigation, well, that happens more than once a year. That happens multiple times a year. So I would imagine if we look at the tape on Didi, that probably did start getting hit.
All right, let's go to the tape. I went to the 1 minute on Didi. Spencer, when was the headline?
Oh God,
we're taking into the algorithmic world here, folks.
I know.
Only get this on PreMarket Prep.
Some people on here, but this is the way
we'll
the
only
world
get this
works.
on PreMarket Prep. But I would think.
I want to say it was around 7:30 this morning, but I don't know.
Oh well, look at the 1 minute chart.
They'll be all over this one, Joel. There'll be no doubter on this one.
You see the 1
Hammer
minute
time.
Yep. I would say maybe the exact release was at 7:29. That's what you got.
You see a little bit of movement at 7:29.
Yeah, this is 7:29.
The 7:29 tape.
7:30, 7:31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So you had 5 minutes. This one, I don't know, Dennis. That's 5 minutes right there.
No, on the initial hit, though.
Right.
I think they hit it. I saw it get hit pretty fast.
Okay.
So
okay.
I'm too lazy to go bring up the actual.
I got it. No, I mean there it is.
Yeah.
It was trading at 7. Yeah, that's a 1 minute chart there.
The algorithmic traders get it. This is the same thing when you have news. You have the initial boom. The algorithmic traders get it, not on space, but on most stocks that have headlines that are easily programmed. You get the algorithmic trader boom if it's good, boom if it's bad, and then you have the human beings that are ding ding ding. Later Johnny come lays hit. So that's probably what you see: initial spike down, and then the algorithmic traders who are shorting the stock on the headline are in, and then you have the Johnny come lately human beings that are hit. And they've taken it all the way down, obviously, significantly now to 15. Okay, first stopping point, Joel. I guess the low, all-time low, 14.10 from 2 days ago. Let's see what it does there.
I mean, what else is there? Also,
if you're buying at 15.03, I think it.
How do you buy it all?
14.10. You're right in the middle. Unless you think yesterday's low is going to hold. Maybe they think yesterday's low of 15 is going to hold. That's what they're trying to think.
Look how long this Baba thing is dragged out before they got arrested. I mean, if you think this is turning around quickly, you may be mistaken. And also sometimes what probably stabs the fall on these things is, uninformed traders that don't see the news and they're just trading technically and like, I got to own this thing at 15 or I got to own this at 15.50. They're like, what? And then they check the headlines. So there are people out there like that.
There's people that don't read news at all. I like the combo action. Look at the headlines. Okay, it's bad news. Then we look at the chart to see where the next level of support is, as opposed to just ignore the headline altogether and I'll just look at support resistance. I mean, you could say that it's falling, but when you see initial headline like space, I mean, okay, just think, technicals on space. Oh yeah, okay, well maybe we're gonna, look at yesterday's low and did put a little double bottom in there, so the technicals do line up. But I mean, if you're just trading purely on technicals, there's lots of money to be made on that headline last night too. So I like the combo. I use the headlines. I look at the headlines. Sometimes gives you an opinion. Sometimes it's an easy opinion. Stock upgraded, probably going up. Stock has bad earnings, probably going down. Not always the case. Stock lowers guidance, probably going down. Stock, launches CEO into space, going up. So, I mean, in Didi's case, China investigation, probably going down.
How soon we forget the crux of the downgrade from, was it Bank of America? I don't remember anymore. The crux of the downgrade, let me just confirm who it was. It was
I think you're right. It was a double downgrade.
It was BFA. Okay, yeah. So the crux of the downgrade from 2 days ago was that companies like this are highly sensitive to headlines. Stocks like this are highly sensitive to headlines. If, God forbid, something terrible happens, then you know.
Oh no, I don't
right?
even. Yeah.
So, and that was I think, well, that was one of the cruxes of the note, was like, this is a headline sensitive stock, and we're talking about like space flights launches, which are high risk to begin with, right? So just remember that. Just remember that is all I'm saying. All right. 821 here. We've covered 2 stocks on today's show, but they are exciting stocks.
They were exciting stocks.
Exciting space and Didi. The Didi thing just makes me shake my head. You almost can't believe it, but of course you can. Of course you can. So
I mean, if it was coming, anywhere but China, I would say, the timing is a coincidence, but I don't think the timing was a coincidence. They waited for that thing to have its big IPO, and then they said, now we're going to hit it. Punish the maximum amount of participants.
Yep. Okay. What else? I mean, speaking of IPOs, I don't know if Dennis, I know you didn't trade donut yesterday, but
how'd you do? You're trying to eat 2 dozen donuts, Spencer. How did it go?
Yeah, no, I said if I did it, I would die. So
then you weighed those. Okay, I'd be really cool for a few minutes, but then I'm dead. So should I eat the dozen donuts or not eat the dozen donuts? I was hoping you'd choose not to eat the dozen donuts because I didn't want you dead.
Didn't eat the dozen donuts.
So it sounds like you made the right choice.
I had 1.5 throughout the day, and
lightweight. It looked exciting in the pic you sent, though. I was like, wow. If you would have did it, then I would have had to have done it. So I'm glad you didn't do it. We're gonna do a donut eating contest. DNUT, what's up?
I don't know. Well, it's down this morning.
Yeah, it's down 90 cents.
I actually saw a pretty good piece of research on Reddit, basically saying, "Do not buy this stock. Do not buy this stock. Do not buy this stock." Was the crux of the post there, and actually it was pretty well done, I thought. So hats up to that person. I think it was on Wall Street Bets I saw it, but yeah, I mean, the valuation of this thing. Do you really think that the valuation has quadrupled in or whatever in 5 years, or double?
Wow. That's what they're saying, but we're in the crazy market, and if Reddit all of a sudden decides that they like donuts, I would be scared to short it. So we'll see. I don't know if Reddit was talking about this one yesterday, but somebody had mentioned that over. It was a stock mentioned on Reddit quite a bit.
Yeah,
Reddit likes donuts. I'll lay off because Reddit apparently likes popcorn at the AMC movie theaters, and we saw what that stock did in GameStop. So
no,
I'm not touching donuts.
Just because you get mentioned on Reddit doesn't mean Reddit loves you. I don't. It
was one of the higher, they rank them though, right? And I think that Wish stock was number 1 or something yesterday, and then donut was on the list. Yeah, donut was on the list. I look at this list. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how people get these rankings. Like I said, I went to Reddit. I was like, oh, maybe I'm just going to read the random headlines there. There's a bazillion stocks that are mentioned all the time. So, I don't know. Obviously I haven't figured out the masters of Reddit trading here yet on which one is going to actually get, some love here from actual traders, because it seems like everybody's just out there trying to promote their stock. So 90% of them don't go anywhere. So how do you find that diamond in the rough? I don't know. But when donut hits the list of one of the more mentioned stocks, I'm like, I won't short that.
Well, just because it's being mentioned doesn't mean it's being mentioned in a positive light. I'll say that.
Do we got anything on OTRK? We're getting asked about that. I don't see it down 10%. Do I? OTRK?
No, see anything.
No, there's no news on this.
No
news? Hasn't even made a trade.
Hasn't even made a trade. It was down before.
I don't know anything about this stock.
Either do I.
Next.
32. Couple lows at 32. Couple lows at 32. That's all I got there.
Okay.
Right.
Little quick ticker time there he gave you. Whoever wanted that.
Yeah, it's like 47 times.
Did we ever get those Tesla deliveries in June? We had Neo and Xpeng yesterday. Chad, help me out because I haven't seen it, and I'm looking, and I've been looking, and I don't think we ever got it.
We're waiting for Tesla. We haven't got it.
Yeah,
I know. They supposed to do it yesterday.
Ford and Tesla are coming today.
Oh, okay.
We haven't seen Ford and we haven't seen Tesla. We saw GM numbers. We saw Toyota numbers. I think we saw Honda. We saw XPV. We saw NEO. We have not seen Tesla, unless they've crossed here in the last 20 minutes since we've been doing the show, because I'm not watching the headlines, doing a radio show. Tesla and Ford are still to come.
Yeah. Tesla, what we're looking for is around 200,000 deliveries last quarter, somewhere in that ballpark. Speaking of estimates, we do have a jobs number in 4 minutes. Probably be watching for wage growth is going to be the big thing that I'm looking out for. But estimates are non-farm payrolls, 700,000 jobs added last month. That's the estimate. 559 were added the prior month. Unemployment rate expected to drop from 5.8% to 5.7%. And I said I'm watching wage growth. The average hourly earnings expected to increase 0.4% month over month and 3.7% year over year. Those are our estimates. We'll find out in 4 minutes what comes of that.
Things that are programmed and algorithmically programmed and not.
Yeah.
This jobs number data obviously is. This is something that happens every single month. Their algorithmic traders are all over this. So lots of algorithmic trading talk today. I've had multiple people reaching out just in the last 20 minutes saying they like this talk, about a little bit of the algorithmic stuff. So this is a headline. If you think you're going to program something in to trade the jobs number, this has been done again and again and again. You're competing against some of the best traders in the world. Something that repeats itself, like an event that happens again and again and again, the algorithmic traders are pretty much all over that. Means human being, you're going to be second to the party. Now, algorithms can be wrong. We know that too. They can be on the wrong side.
They can overshoot.
And you see these whipsaw actions, algorithms sell. It's like, oh, no, they've interpreted wrong. The devil was in the details. Should have actually read that one, and then it's a buying opportunity. But what I like to watch is the TLT response. So instead of watching the S&P futures response, sometimes it's better, a more valuable exercise, at least to my trading, to watch the TLT. TLT gets spanked, that's going to be good for the banks and bad for the Qs. So keep an eye, because that gives you a little bit more. When SPY goes, you have separation, right? On jobs number, you might see some stocks going higher, some stocks going lower on it. It's not necessarily going to hit all the market. But the TLT will show you a little bit more of the separation, because we know the Qs have been positively linked to TLT lately. We know the banks are always negatively correlated with the TLT. Gives you a feel, and that's the rotation. So TLT is actually a little bit better to watch sometimes on these numbers.
Easy Mike also watches the UUP, which is the dollar ETF.
It doesn't move much, though, is a problem. The UUP is just not a big mover.
A lot. Yep.
Yeah, like a nickel or a dime moving on that is a big move. So it's a little bit harder. But there's definitely the correlation there, too. So it's a good point. The U.S. dollar has been coming up here lately. So, I mean, there is a great point there, too.
Okay. All right. Let's get the technical setup here. 18 and a quarter.
Wait, Joel, can you get whatever this is on the screen? OT.
Oh, yeah, get rid of that thing.
Yeah, we don't.
Oh, and let's thank you, Spencer. And we'll go to the 1 minute. I'm not going to go to the tick chart, but nothing wrong with the 1 minute for these kind of situations. Boom, come on, 1 minute. I wish I could just have a command on it, voice instead of having to click. But anyways, here's the technical setup. 18 and a quarter is your pre-market high, and that's the only high you ever have. There's a resistance. Your all-time closing high yesterday was at 1075, and the pre-market low just under that at 4308. So there you go. You take out the pre-market low. If you get a little panicness on the downside, you might see 4,300, maybe get a little bounce there. If they just love it and it's peaches and cream, they'll take out the 18 and a quarter. And next stopping point would be 24 and a quarter. And I can't tell you how I came up with that number. But here we go, folks.
Here we go.
Job report imminent. Spencer, give us the jobs report.
It's out.
Oh, it's crickets.
Here we go. It comes in so
fast. We don't know yet.
850,000 jobs added last month. Again, the estimate was at 700,000. So a big beat on the jobs front.
Big beat
on the new jobs front. Again, 850,000 jobs added in June versus 700,000 estimate and a 559,000 figure in the prior month. So a huge beat. Remember, the last 2 months had missed estimates. So a big beat on that front. Where's my unemployment number here?
5.6, 5.7.
Yes, we're in the ballpark.
5.9.
Yep, there we go, 5.9. Okay, so remember the estimate there was 5.7%, and we're a little bit higher than that. A little bit of a miss, but big beat on the non-farm payroll figure though. Huge beat. Let me look. I'm looking for average hourly earnings. Oh, this all comes in so quick.
We're wide.
Oh, there you go.
3.6% year over year, so more or less in line. A smidge of a miss on that number, but anyway, big beat on the unemployment on the non-farm payroll figure. Private payroll is coming in higher as well. So turnaround from the trend of the last 2 months on payrolls, non-farm and private, big beats. Unemployment, slight miss. Average hourly earnings, slight miss.
No, as of now, no dip. No, I mean, yeah, maybe.
No, didn't have a dip. We're up like 4 points.
Yeah, and I mean, you couldn't. I was trying to get the close in 10.75 and only got to 12.25. And then you made a new high. You made a new high, 21.50. I like it. I mean, it's just the trend. We're just grounding higher. Gold looks like gold got hit a little bit. They do. They like everything. Gold peeled back a little bit. Now we caught the bid. Now we're just in no man's land. So it's going to be a big up open here. 24.25. I mentioned that. That looks like it'll be there in about 48 seconds. So 24.25. Oh, just a potential level, nothing major. So that's what we got on the jobs report. Dennis, I don't know. Was there enough shake and bake for you to do anything there, or not really?
You know what? It chopped around. It went really wide. Went 40 cents wide on the SPY, which means we're probably 4 points wide on the futures. And then we closed in, and we just had them slightly grinding higher. I said, watch the TLT. The TLT did a hell of a lot of nothing. So SPY went straight up. TLT just kind of, banks did catch a bid, so which is interesting. The banks are catching a bid here. So, you know, that kind of is interesting just because TLT didn't move. It's still holding on to the gains. It was based in the same spot.
Can I interrupt you here? Tesla deliveries out as well.
Tesla, news everywhere. News everywhere.
Yeah, Tesla Q2 deliveries a little over 201,000. 201,250 is the number for deliveries in the second quarter. A little bit below the consensus estimate of 204,000. Q2 production at 206,000, and versus 82,000 a year ago. Well, we can't compare year over year. It's apples to fish. But a slight miss on the Q2 deliveries for Tesla.
Yeah, big buyer at 675. I just saw 10,000 shares. That's big for Tesla in the pre-market. So it actually bounced right off of that person's order. I don't know. That's their first level of support. Maybe they're looking at the charts there, Joel. I don't know if they're looking.
Yeah, that's your 3-day low at 75.89.
Yeah.
But look, I think this is very interesting here because you've had the nice rally and then the kind of a little bit of the stall here, and then you got a trading range. So I don't want to put too many lines up here, but
675 is the critical one. They're going to try them again. They're trying that order again here.
I think he gets done.
It'll go fast when it goes, and then everybody will scramble. Because right now, what you have is traders that lean on big orders. So they're leaning there. There's somebody just stepped up at 2,400 in front of that order. It just ticked it a couple times again to 675. But like I said, that 10,000 shares, 11,000 shares is a fairly sizable order. So they're trying to hold on there. If that 675 goes, you're going to see this thing at 670.
I think it goes. Let's see.
675, 22. Watch it, 675. It's starting to nibble. It's a big order. It took some time.
Oh, is it?
It went slow though. It went slow. See,
did it get done?
Wasn't enough. So you had somebody jump the gun and hit them for 5,000. They're like, oh, maybe it's not gonna go. Oh, I thought that was going. I thought I could make it go. It didn't go. Anyway,
it's going now.
Oh, they're nibbling. But it's nibbling. It's going too
now.
slow.
It's turning. Damn,
you had a lot of people that shorted there though. So
they got them. Yeah, now they're buying at 74. They're like, I got covered. Oh, 72. I knew that guy was gonna get done. Did you get the last? Did you go?
I usually like taking the last chunk of it. Yeah, but I didn't trade it.
In the pit with something like that.
Yeah,
when
how to go in the pit.
Like the guy, it'd be like a big order. And then when it was almost the order, like 15 guys would go, balance.
They all want that. Rest of it.
That
went too slow. So when it goes in one blow, then you have people calm, but it went so slow that anybody who was leaning on it got out, and then you had people who probably shorted it. So the speed of a big order like that can affect it too. So it's bouncing back a little bit because the people who shorted 675 was like, oh, I don't know. It's 3 points wide. It's just so fun to watch this kind of trading when you have a big order like that.
All right, we got Markus Heitkoetter lurking in the background. I'm going to bring him on now from Rockwell Trading. I know he's not as interested in the jobs number as we are, but Markus, here you are. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good. How was your week?
Oh my gosh, it's one of the better weeks. I think nice. I don't know if it is the best week that I've had this year, but definitely it's good.
Okay.
What were you doing? Tell us the trades.
So what happened is that last week I got assigned in a few positions, and this is always awesome. So as you know, I'm selling puts, and then I might or might not get assigned. So last week I got assigned in 4 positions: Camping World, Penn, AA, Alcoa, and something else. And then I can sell calls against it. And I sell calls more aggressively, so that's a covered call because I want to get called away again. It's part of the wheel strategy, right, where wheel goes round and round. And this is when the fun really starts, because this is where you can easily make $2,000-$3,000 on a covered call in a week. And that's what I did. So today looks like Camping World gets called away. If I can share my charts here. Yeah, just want to show you. Camping World, I got assigned 2,700 shares at 37.50. So the 37.50 is somewhere right here. And then, as you can see, it was rallying. So I sold the 39 call. And right now we're up $41. Unless Camping World crashes and burns today below 39, I'm getting called away on this one. So this will be a little bit over $8,000, $8,500 trade on this one. Penn, very similar. Penn, actually, I have 1,300 shares. Let's bring up the charts here. So Penn, let me see. I got assigned at 76. No, I got assigned at 75. So 1,300 shares. Sold the 76, and I see we're lingering right around there, but pre-market we're up 76.70. So if you close above 76, they're getting called away. I already sold calls last week, which was just so much fun. So this morning I would add on another $2,600 to this. And Penn, let's just bring this up. I think in Penn earlier I made $4,000 selling calls. Yeah, so this will be like around a $7,000 trade here. So not bad at all. The only trade that I did this week where I sold puts was on United Airlines. I think I did this on Monday. It was just great because the strike price of 49 was available. And see, if you zoom out a little bit, I believe that United Airlines has some pretty good support here at 49. If they would have dipped below 49 by today, I wouldn't have mind owning United Airlines. I think they're strong. And we just heard it a few days later that they bought 200 planes from Boeing and another 70 from Airbus. I mean, 270 planes, you don't buy 270 planes for shits and giggles, right? I mean, you buy it because you have a plan here. And so this is where these puts will expire worthless. And that will be another, that's a small trade, like $500, $550, something like this. Okay, so LVS is another one that I have. LVS, I've been in this a little bit longer because I got assigned at 58. So they're trading down at 53. Pre-market a little bit earlier, they were up at 53.80, 53.90. They seem to pull back right now. So I'm selling a few more calls here. I've been selling calls on LVS for the past few weeks. And so I'm up already $5,300 in realized profits. The stock currently is down $8,000. But since I already have all this premium here, it's just down like $3,000. And again, so, there's a $250,000 cash account, so $500,000 in buying power. So this year is what, like, I don't know, 2%, less than 2%, maybe something like this. So that's not a big deal. But then, of course, we have right. It's super quiet.
Did you wear the shirt again today?
No, I did not.
No, not today. Not today.
All right.
Somebody very special gave that to me. So I'm keeping this very, very special. Anyhow, so right.
Where's your cost basis now?
It's 14.17. So I made a little bit over $16,000 selling all this premium.
Yeah.
But they're just hanging out there. I mean, no surprise. Why would they pop? I mean, we all know they are looking for somebody to give them money. They say that they talk to some people, but nothing else has been revealed. So yesterday they were down a little bit. This morning, pre-market, they're up another %. And I think they will be just lingering here between 10 and 12. Probably between 9 and 12. I wouldn't be surprised if this gets pushed down again until finally somebody says, all right, here you go with some money. I mean, I thought it would be GM because they announced, when was it? A couple of weeks ago, I believe. They announced that one of the GM previous executives, let's just look it up really quick. So they said, okay, so there's this dude Whitcomb from I think it was previously at GM. So I thought, okay, that's a strategic move. They're putting one of theirs right there on the in the operations as a global commercials operation, so that they see what's going on and then they invest. But yeah, who knows? So that's pretty much what's going on. So I usually have around 5 positions in my account, and as you can see, that's exactly what I have here right now, 5 positions. So thus far this week, I'm this year I'm up to 106,000. Today, with these 2 positions expiring, I'll add another 10,000, 11,000. That's 11,000, 11,500. So I'll be scratching 117, 118,000 in realized profits here soon. Anyhow, so that's what's going on here. And you see, for me, I know that you're looking at something else. I'm always keeping.
I'll ask you a question. This is from Robert in the chat.
Yeah.
Can you explain how your cost basis and your break even and ride are different?
Oh, okay. So the cost basis, let's just go back to ride.
Yeah.
The cost basis is what I bought the shares for, right? And the break even is when I'm subtracting all the premium that I've received thus far. So if ride goes up back to 15.79, I make 0 money on the stocks. I also lose 0 money on the stocks. And that means that I can keep the whole premium that I collected, the $16,000. So on this trade, I would make $16,000. Now, if it goes up to 14.17, in this case, I lose exactly $16,184 on the stock. So I'm basically giving back all my premium, and this is how I'm getting out at 0. So the difference between the cost basis is basically what you bought the shares for. Let me show you. This is what your broker shows you right here, right? The trade price. And if you bought it at multiple levels, it says this is the average share price. And I bought right at different levels because I was selling more puts. It's a part of my rescue mission plan here. Anyhow, so this is where that is the 15.97, and then the break even is if I would be willing to give back all the premium. Does this make sense, Robert?
It does make sense. I think the confusion was around the term cost basis, and you're just using it to refer to your entry price, not your overall cost basis on the overall position.
No. This way, yeah, for me, I keep it different as cost basis and break even. Cost base is the share, and break even would be the overall position.
Yeah. All right, Marcus, any more thoughts?
What are you doing? What are you going into next week? Holiday trade. We get Monday off, 4-day week.
I would love to, but you see the VIX right now, the volatility index is at 1474. I mean, are you kidding me?
It's killing me too, man.
Huh?
It's killing me too. I like VIX higher, so I have more movement.
You see, for an option,
this is as low as we've been in a while.
It is. I mean, if you're just looking back here, I can actually bring up a weekly chart, then you see how bad it is. I mean, the last time we were at levels that low was in February 2020, before the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has been, 16 months of this low volatility, and this week is pre-pandemic lows. It just shows you that the market is lulled in. Yes, we're making new all-time highs, but look at this. It's really, really small moves. I mean, Dennis, as I said, volatility is good as a trader, and volatility is good if you're selling premium on options. if you don't have volatility, I mean, there's not much premium. So I hope that I can pick up something here going into the long weekend, into the short trading week. But since the jobs report, I mean, everybody was waiting for this, hoping that the jobs report would push the markets around. What's happening pre-markets? Really nothing, right?
Just pushing it up, yeah. I mean, we were moving higher, and it just continuing to move higher. Really wasn't even not even much of a dip on that. So
no, and this were honestly, I had hoped for a little bit of a dip. This would be great because selling puts is always best when it's going down. That's what I did on United. So I sold those puts. Let's go back to a daily chart here. I sold those on Monday when we had this down move here. So in order to sell puts, I need a stock to move down, or the market to move down, or something to move down.
Right.
All right. To learn more, hear more from Markus, you can go to rockwelltrading.com/Benzinga. He joins the show every Friday, and we look forward to it every Friday. Markus, have a good holiday.
All right. You too.
All righty.
Take care.
All right, let's do some ticker time.
We got through all of our news and everything. We didn't no earnings, right?
No. We are really in the earnings doldrums. We're gonna have bank earnings in 2 weeks, but for
2 weeks. When's the JP Morgan?
I want to say the 16th. Let me
or something. I looked that up the other day and I didn't write it down.
Should we talk AMC and GameStop? We haven't talked them for a while. What do you think of the chart? What do you think of the charts on AMC and GameStop? They are quiet consolidation here. Whenever you're in a consolidation period, you're getting ready to resolve one way or another.
I brought this up the other day. I'm in love with. I can't look away from this AMC chart. I just can't look away. It's just bunching.
There's a battle between the Bulls and the Bears here right now in AMC. A huge battle. And same thing with GameStop. You're tightening up. I mean, look at this GameStop in the last week and a half between 200. What's tight for GameStop? It's relative, right? But between 197 and 225. I mean, we are just tightening up above the 200, tightening up above the 50. Those are two key levels, Joel. 50 for AMC and 200 for GameStop. Thoughts, concerns?
Yep. Consolidation. I mean, overall trend is up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Still,
that's good news.
Yeah. I've been keeping an eye on this too. I'll go with it. 197 was a low. Another low was 198.50. What we get to yesterday? 20. Yeah, I'd say 198. Trading range for now, and it's been a trading range since June 21st from 197 to 227. You're bearing down on the lower part of the range. Take out that 197. I think you get some good downside here to 181. Earnings. It never really recovered after earnings, and I guess that's good. That's what you're going to base the company on. AMC is quiet as well.
Yeah.
Same here. Just even tighter. I'd go with this low here, 51.05. We're at 53.45. So there's the bottom of the range there. And then I've been telling you all. Let's see if anybody in the chat can remember. Even after all this craziness, I had one number and I stuck with the one number, and it's gone above it, it's gone below it, but it's turned out to be a hell of a number. Does anybody remember what that was? Spencer,
I
mean, you're AMC. Because you always tell me I'm too numbery, right? And I give one number. I'll give one number and you can't even remember it, Dennis. You can't even write it down. I say I give you one number in a stock. One number I give you. And you can't remember.
You 50 on AMC. That's my number on AMC.
No, that's a stupid
Needs to hold
number.
50.
That's a stupid number.
A stupid number.
That's a stupid number. What are you gonna? If it comes down to 50, you're gonna buy it?
No, I'm selling it short if it goes through 50.
Oh, you're doing it wrong, Dennis.
I'm doing it wrong. I like selling weakness.
Wrong.
No trades here yet, but through that 50,
you're doing it wrong.
That could get ugly.
Hey,
it needs to hold 50. Critical to hold 50. GameStop's critical to hold that. I like your 196 number.
Wait.
GameStop's a little cleaner.
Joel, Chad pays attention. Joel said there was a few numbers in the $42 area.
No, forget it. I'm going to give you the one number. at 9 a.m. Come over to PreMarketPrep.com. The people that care, the people that take notes, the people that want to make money and have a level in the stock are going to show up at 9, and I'm going to give them that number. If not, y'all can just. Dennis is selling at 50. He's covering at 51.
Yeah, no trade yet, but if it starts to look like, you know what my concern here is with the meme stock trade is who's the buyers? Like, who's the next round of buyers? If everybody's holding and everybody, I watched somebody on CNBC, they called in on AMC on Fast Money last night, and they said they're up 500% in the stock, and they're trying to add on dips, and they're not intending on selling any. Who is the buyers that are taking it up to 100? Because, you got Mitch in the chat saying it could go to 100. Who's the buyers? And they're going to say the shorts, but it's been the same kind of short interest the whole way. It's not a huge amount of short interest. And second, how do we know with the short interest that it's not, people aren't hedged there? How do you know you're not just long call short stock?
Yeah.
So, I've argued that point for a long time. You can look at short interest, but you don't know if there's hedging going on there too. I don't know how many people, are just sitting here with an open short position getting annihilated on it. I don't think a lot of people, I know I'm definitely not. But who's the next buy? What's the next wave to make it go to 100? Because the fundamental buyers are not coming in. There's no fundamental buyers that people are trading institutional.
No, it's
traders.
all the people that missed out the first time are going to chasing it this time.
Why aren't they chasing it right now, though? It's been sitting here for like 2 weeks.
It's not going up.
I know. It's not going up, and everybody's still talking about it. Isn't that concerning?
They're talking about it less, but they're trading it less. Look at the volume. Trading it less, talking about it a little bit less. It's definitely being talked about less. It's not going up, and therefore people like to chase, man. You assume that everyone's like you. We're not all like you. Some people like to chase.
I don't think anybody's like me. But you're making my point for me. I love you, Spencer. You're making my point for me. It's being talked about less. What is this? The driver for this AMC story is purely story. There's no fundamentals driving it. It's all story and hype. If that story starts to cool off, if that story starts to not be as hot as it once was, doesn't that mean the price could come in a bit?
What about a good movie release with good movie numbers?
See, that's what I wanted. The next driver. Maybe that's the next driver.
That's actually
Space Jam coming out.
Which brings up an interesting point because July, I think is it July? I want to say it's July. This is about to be like one of the biggest months the biggest month that we've had since COVID. For whatever reason, the calendar is stacked up because we've had basically no good releases for the past few months, even though movies have been open. But the calendar is like stacked up now. We're purely in like summer blockbuster season, and there is like a big new release every single week for the next like 4, and in some cases more than one big release. I had a list up the other day. I could bring it up now. Space Jam is one of them, but there's like a solid half dozen what I would call big release summer blockbuster movies in the next few weeks.
So maybe that's the driver.
Yep.
Maybe that's going to be the story, and that's going to be the driver going forward. I'm just going to say, at this point in time, you're in consolidation station. It's like place your bets.
Okay,
place your bets when you're in consolidation. Mitch thinks it's going to 100. I don't know where it's going, but I'm saying if it starts going down below 50, I think it could be at 40 very quickly. So I like to go with, I don't short rocket ships, but when momentum breaks and story starts to break, that's when it gets more interesting. GameStop below 195 and AMC below 50 would be a short signal for a lot of traders out there. Right. I'm not one of them. I'm maybe not even going to trade on this because it's a wild stock and I'm doing different stuff. And this is just, speculative, very, very speculative. But I'm just saying, if you're sitting on 500% profits here, you bought this thing at $10 back in May and it's $53 and it starts to breach that 50, I think you'll have a few people that are like, I don't want to start giving back those profits. I think you'll bang out some sellers. So I think it's a very crowded long, to be honest with you. I do. I think AMC is a very crowded long. Okay. So just be careful is all I'm saying. If you're sitting on huge profits in here, I would be careful. That's my word of caution. Not saying it's going to 0. Not saying it's going back to 10. But I'm saying if you start to go below 50, you're going to spook a lot of longs.
I'm talking big franchises, all right? We got July 9th, right? We got the next Marvel, Black Widow, okay? A week later, July 16th, we got Space Jam. A week later, nothing too crazy. There's more in August, though. There's more here. Let me go to August here. I'm looking at the box office mojo. August 6th, Suicide Squad, another big franchise.
Okay, so Spencer's long. He likes the Mitch call to 100, apparently. Joel, what is your call?
I didn't say that. I'm saying, buddy, talking about
we're making bets. We're making side bets here. I think it sees 40 before it sees. I'll propose a lunch bet to you here.
Okay.
Spencer or
Yeah,
Joel.
we'll let you guys do this one.
Joel's sitting out on this one.
There's
too much controversy. Everybody's going to send me hate emails over the weekend.
Yeah,
here
send them to Dennis.
Bearish about AMC.
My ex-partner.
My ex-partner. Spencer's trying to talk me off talking bearish. He's scared for me. But I'm just saying.
Propose terms. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm going to say I think it sees 40. It's 53.5 right now. So what's 13.5 on that? 40 before 67. I'll take you and we'll do the donut bet.
By when?
For a box of Krispy Kreme donuts.
By when? Forever?
No, it's 40 before. There's no time limit. It's 40 or 67. It's a binary bet. So you got you win at 67. I win at 40.
Okay, I'll take that bet.
Okay, we got a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts here. Mitch is on the record. He's writing it down. I'm going with 40. You're going with
100 Krispy Kreme donuts.
Hey, how did you get Krispy Kreme donuts in here?
Because this is Krispy Kreme donut week.
Dennis is just wanting some donuts, man. He's been wanting donuts all week.
Donuts. And you know what? If I win the bet, maybe I'll eat them live on the show. But I only want the glazed ones, the lighter ones. No ones. The light ones I could maybe take.
Do you have Krispy Kreme in Canada?
Yeah, Dennis, they're going to kick
I think they got rid of them all. They're all
going to kick you out of Canada if you.
We had the Krispy Kreme lineup in Windsor. When that thing opened, it was lined up around the block. 3 months later, there was no cars in the driveway.
You know why? Because everybody, their average customer goes 2.5 times a year.
Well, yeah, and they all go to Tim Hortons in Canada. So.
I just want a whole
People are mad, but this is what makes a market. So we're made a side bet. I have no position in AMC.
Me neither.
People say I'm talking. I have no position in AMC. I have no trade in it. There's no trade here. So we just made a side bet for fun. But I want to mention I'm a little concerned on the chart.
2 of the 3 big movies there will be on HBO Max. So Chris mentioning in the chat that kind of could offset it. But what I'm thinking is there's just been so long that everyone's been thinking the movies are going to suck, right? In their ticket sales, right? And so if that can turn around, wouldn't that change around that story?
Maybe.
So that's just what I'm thinking.
Yeah, we haven't had any really good box office numbers since they all reopened. So maybe that changes the next month and a half. My point, which Mitch brought up, was that we actually have reason to think maybe the box office numbers turn around this year because you got a couple of big franchises that are coming out. Okay, 8:58. Any final thoughts, either of you?
Sure, I got some final thoughts here.
Okay, go.
My final thought is, we hit that target that I mentioned at 24.25. That's just a lazy target that I used. If you want to trade the average daily range on this and you just think that, hey, we're finally going to have a expanded range day, then we could go to 46.50, 46.50. So that would be a hell of a move. That's another 20 points. I kind of don't think I'll be running out and buying the calls based on that. Hopefully get some kind of pullback intraday. We've had about a 17-point range. Maybe if we can pull back to mid-range or something, that's probably like around 15, 16, maybe lower risk buy. But let's take out that pre-market high and keep going. So I'm going to let Dennis, I'm going to let you take it from here. We're going to give that one and only AMC number at 9 a.m. at premarketprep.com. So we'll see you guys in a little bit.
What are your final thoughts?
50 is important for it to hold.
No, Joel said that's a stupid number.
I think it's a smart number. That's why we have a market. We have somebody thinks it's a buy, somebody thinks it's a sell, somebody thinks it's a smart number, somebody thinks it's a stupid number. I think AMC needs to hold 50. Holds 50. The Bulls are still in control until it loses 50. Then it gets interesting. Gamestop 195.
40 before 67. There it is. I wrote it in that's my hand.
Right there. For the dozen Krispy Kreme donuts, just the light glazed ones, because I intend to eat them all on camera.
How do I get them to you if I lose? I can't just mail.
Ship them to me. You put them in a box and you overnight it to me. You have 1 day shipping. Amazon those things to me.
I don't know.
I know this because there's no Krispy Kreme. We'll figure it out. So we don't know when the bet is going to be paid. It might be years from now. Maybe it'll just trade in that range from 50 to 60 for the next 2 years, and we don't have to worry about that. The borders are going to open, Spencer. The borders are going to open.
Yeah, but you live in like the Yukon, so
I did move a long ways away.
I can't get to you.
There's no snow outside anymore. That's a good thing. The ice left the water. So,
do you have paved roads? I don't even know if you have paved roads where you live.
There is paved roads.
All right, that's good.
We got. And if you go a little farther north, there's not. But
that's what I thought. A little.
All right. So, final thoughts here.
Yeah.
We're entering holiday trade. We got the big jobs number. Is going to be a very quiet week next week. You're going to see little stories, obviously, like space that are going to be, get a lot of trading action. But with the VIX at 14, as Markus was pointing out, it's quiet in the trading room here right now. I don't expect that to change next week. I looked at the earnings calendar for next week. Oh. There is basically nothing.
There's Levi Strauss. Levi Strauss is next week.
Welcome to the abyss of nothingness. So nothing scheduled. We'll get some fireworks maybe, Didi, and there's a few fun things to trade, but. Yeah. For the most part, it's going to be a very quiet week. If you're looking at taking a day or two off, next week is the week to do that, in my opinion. So I'm expecting nothingness.
Well, we will be here regardless. Dennis,
hold on. Did Dennis just say we can have the day off, Spencer?
Well, he said we could have Monday off. I don't know if we can about the rest of the week.
Do I get Monday off?
Yes,
Hey, markets are open. They don't usually give me any days off.
You get Monday off, Dennis.
I take Monday off. Woo, 3-day weekend. What do they do on CNBC? Woo, woo.
Is that what they
3:33? Yeah, they all go woo woo.
Okay.
Woo! Ric Flair, leaving you with Ric Flair. Woo!
All right. See you. How's it going? Okay, speaking of the jobs number, let me bring on Benzinga's newest contributing writer, Sam Corey, to break it down for us here. I've been trying to look into the report a little bit in the last half hour during the show, but Sam has no doubt been able to look at it closer than I have. Sam, good morning.
Hey.
Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Spencer.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the jobs number here. One thing that jumped out to me right off the bat is I was looking at individual segments, right? And 343,000 increase in the leisure and hospitality sector, and more than half of that number was in food services, basically restaurants and bars. That jumped out to me. What jumped out to you from the report?
No, that's exactly it. I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. Leisure, hospitality, food and beverage, like these sectors are coming back really, really strong. You saw 850,000 jobs added in June. That was a really good number, and you've had pretty high averages. I think the biggest takeaway, kind of like macro looking at this, is that this is a really, really fast sort of growth in the economy. It's a fast sort of coming back to somewhat pre-pandemic normal. And it's much, much faster than the previous recession, particularly. So the last recession, the Great Recession, took about 6 years to accomplish essentially what is predicted to be being accomplished in 2 years today.
Wow. I mean, yeah. So, okay. So explain, I'm trying to wrap my head around this labor market here, because I think I saw that the labor participation rate was unchanged. In other words, the number, while we gained 800,000 jobs last month, the number of long-term unemployed also went up. Can you give it paint an overall point of view as to where we are? I know there's still a job shortage from where we were pre-COVID by a couple 100,000, right? But can you just paint an overall picture for us of this job market?
Yeah, this is a really complicated and just sticky sort of thing that's happening. I mean, we've never it's been 100 years since we've had sort of a pandemic kind of like the one that we've had now.
Yeah.
And the fiscal stimulus is different this time.
Right.
So we're looking at a very different economy. Structurally, it is changing. And so it's really hard to get sort of a good understanding of what's going on. You're right that the unemployment rate essentially remained unchanged. I mean, it's at 5.9% this month. The previous month, it was at 5.8%. So there's not a whole lot of change there. Essentially, when I talk to economists, they are, relatively cheery. They think things are going at a good clip. They are, a lot of them are pretty pleased with the fiscal stimulus, with the sort of recovery package that came from the Biden administration. But it's really difficult to tell things outside of that. It's hard to make future predictions, although wages are going up. And I just talked to economist Joe Bruselis, who said that they're expecting a strong increase in average hourly earnings of 3.6% per year. So I'm sorry, average hourly, 3.6.
So that's basically what we got, wasn't it? Or
yeah.
I mean, we came in, I think a smidge below that number. So
yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna catch up in chat here. No. Okay. So we got this jobs number out of the way. It was greater than expected. A lot of jobs being added to leisure, hospitality. Obviously, wage growth is going up. We all see it anecdotally. But you and I were talking about this yesterday, and you kind of just mentioned a little bit. So there's basically, if I'm to understand one thing here, it is that even economists are not quite sure how much we can trust numbers right now, right?
Right. There was essentially a report done by the Harvard Business Review that essentially said that, the survey data is still a little bit tricky. It's a little bit sketchy. And the White House Council on Economic Advisors sort of regurgitated that information. So there's still things that we're trying to figure out. There's still data that we're trying to collect. It's just a weird time. So many people are still on remote work, or at least it's at 14.4% according to the recent report this morning. That's actually down a little bit from 16.6% in May of folks who are just working from home. But it's weird, it's tricky, it's complicated, and we're still waiting to get more information.
Who was JD Jordan said we need Sam's Twitter handle or phone number. Well, we're not gonna give her phone number, but what's your Twitter handle, Sam? I don't actually know.
Yeah, it's Sam_H_Corey. I'm a little bit new to Twitter, but that's
put it at Sam what is it? Sam H_Corey?
No, it's Sam. Like there's two underscores. I think that was the only way I was able to do it.
Sam__Corey?
No. Sam_H_Corey.
Ah, like that. Okay, just like that on the screen.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. And a great question from Pamela Brown. I didn't see this, so maybe you can help me out here. But what kind of revisions did we have for the past couple of months?
That's a good question that I also have to look into.
Okay, there's always revisions. I would imagine they were revised higher only because I believe we missed the last 2 months in a row. We missed for May, we missed for April. So I would assume that they revised those numbers higher. Generally, I found it, and this is just my general observation, I don't have data to back this up, but generally speaking, if the number was better than estimates, then it gets revised lower, and if it missed, it gets revised higher after the fact. That's my general observation of this, but I don't have any number to back that up. Okay. Any final thoughts for us, Sam, on this number, on other numbers that you're seeing, on other things? You're talking to economists all the time here. This is sort of your sandbox. So what else are you seeing out there that is on your radar?
Just that, from the economists I'm speaking to, they're saying that households are in a pretty good spot. A lot have, of course, been saving a lot of money. And you should see material evidence of people venturing out and doing things that they haven't done for a long time. You did see, interestingly, in 2020, a rise in startups. There could be another rise in 2021. We don't know yet, but that's kind of on my mind.
All right, Sam Corey is Benzinga's newest contributing writer. There is his Twitter handle up on the screen at Sam_H_Corey. You can find his articles on Benzinga. Sam, thanks a lot. Talk to you again.
Thanks so much, Spencer. I appreciate it.
All right, before I bring on Ryan Faloona to trade with us into the open, I want to play a quick trailer. As a reminder, I've said this every day, but PreMarket Prep is not the only show on this channel. We've got SPAX Attack, we've got the Power Hour, we got Get Technical, Moon or Bust. Every Friday, we do Zinger Stock Trivia. The questions are generated by a colleague of mine, Enver, and myself, and it is probably, it's a Friday afternoon show, right? It's Friday, it's at 3 o'clock. Everyone's ready for the weekend. It's a very casual show. It's interactive. You can play along. We do give away free swag to the winner every single week. So the next edition of Benzinga Stock Trivia is today at 3 o'clock. Here is a taste of what you can expect.
For those new people who don't know what Benzinga Stock Trivia is, if you have not played before, this is how it works. We're going to have about 12 to 15 questions here. Each one's going to have 4 multiple choice answers. You type the number that corresponds with the answer you want to select, and the people who answer the most questions correctly and do so the fastest, of course, will win. And what do you win? Some sweet swag.
All right, right here on this very channel, Fridays at 3 p.m., Benzinga Stock Trivia. Check it out. I'm always watching and lurking in the background because, like I said, I help with the questions, and I want to see who gets them right, who gets them wrong. Typically, spoiler alert, most of the people on Benzinga get a lot of them wrong. But anyway, Rohan gets a lot. Rohan was the guy in the video. He gets a lot of them wrong. Mitch, you have something to say there?
Yeah, we'll be there today at the quiz. Hang out. Come hang out, guys.
Come. That's what I'm saying. Come hang out. I'm always hanging out there. So, all right. Benzinga Stock Trivia, our most fun, probably the most loosey-goosey show that we have here. Fridays at 3 o'clock. What else would you expect? Okay, it is 9:11 now. Excuse me. Let's bring on my man, Ryan Faloona. He's going to hang out with us through the open for about an hour till around 10 p.m. And we're going to do some trading and do some watching markets. And Ryan, what's up, man?
How's it going, man? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you.
Real quick. I am not hanging out with you until 10 p.m. I love you, Spencer, but I am not hanging out with you till 10 p.m. That is all day long today. No chance.
Did I say PM?
You said PM, bro. You mixed up your AM PM. The AM PM mix up. I was expecting a Seinfeld drop, but that'll work.
No, because then YouTube gets mad at us, and
right.
We get punished, and I don't want to get punished. Okay, 10 a.m. Excuse me, Ryan. Ryan, no, you've had a very good week on the Benzinga Pro front. It was the end of the quarter. We had a great end of the quarter sale. We will have more sales going forward, but as far as markets go, what is on your radar today?
So if you want to go ahead and share my screen, I created a watch list for this morning's open. It's probably tougher to see. Let me zoom in a little bit for you guys. So I've got a watch list here with 9 stocks on it. Yep, 10 stocks on it. I'm going to be watching these at the open. I currently have TAT, TATT, pulled up here looking for a pop of this 1024, which we tested earlier in the pre-market and then just tested a few minutes ago on some pretty considerable volume. So this is probably my top watch here for the day that I'm going to be watching out of the open. Just some administrative stuff to take care of. Richard, how you doing, man? Nice to see you again. BNZB, nice to see you. Does staff pop or drop? Let's take a look. That's actually one of the stocks on my list. Good segue right here. I can't tell you if this is going to go up or down or where this is going to close. What I can tell you is I think that this is going to be moving around quite a bit today. In an ideal world to take this trade, I'd actually like this to come into around 482. Maybe even a little bit lower than that, and then bounce and take out some of these other levels that we've identified. So what I would like to see here is a bit of a drop out of the open followed by a bounce. Unsure if we'll get that, but that's what I'd be hoping for from a trading perspective.
No position yet, right?
No position. So, okay, that's actually a really good point, Spencer. I'm glad that you said that. Just so you guys are aware, in all 10 stocks that I have on my watch list, I currently have no position. So any of the trades today would be opening and closing trades. This is not anything that I've held over from a previous session. I'm not closing out a swing. I'm not closing out an open transaction. I have no position in any one of these companies at the moment. Great spot there, Spencer. Sorry. And last week I got told that I was so hyper that it looked like I was on meth. So I'm trying to dial it back here, trying to throw it back to you for a little bit, just to make sure that people understand that everything's kosher. around these parts.
Cool. Everything is cool. Everyone just be cool. Ryan, how do those tickers end up on your watch list? What are you looking for?
Great question. So so I do two things, right? In the evening every night before a market day, I use our screener tool in Benzinga Pro here, and I do a very, very basic scan, and I'll duplicate. We got plenty of time here, so I'll duplicate that here for you. So the first thing is that I need to make sure that I'm trading stocks that are liquid. To me, like, I'm not a low float guy. I know we have a lot of people that do that. I'm not. That's not me. If I'm day trading, oftentimes I'm scalping or I'm looking for a little bit of a gain. I'm trying to time an entry. So I need stuff that's liquid. I need stuff that I can get in and out of. So the first thing that I'm going to filter for is at least 1 million shares. Got to be over 1 million shares traded on the day, or I'm not even looking at it. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to search by relative volume, and I'm going to look for relative volume over 1.5. That's going to tell me that there are eyeballs here. There was either something going on, perhaps there was a level. There was a level that got taken out on volume or something like that. And then from here, depending on what I'm looking for, I can actually filter by price or by float, or both, frankly. And then normally, you know, if I'm trying to look for as many stocks as possible, I won't apply those filters, and I'll just run these two filters. So volume over 1 million, relative volume over 1.5. And then what I'll do here is I'll actually sort this by relative volume. So go ahead and add this column to the screener, sort it by relative volume. And then I'll kind of just click on these tickers and take a look at the chart. And a lot of the time, Spencer, when I'm looking at the daily chart, something's going to stand out. Either a range break, a level that's just fallen, a bounce off of a particular support. Maybe we're battling back and forth around a resistance area. And when that's the case, I'll throw that onto a watch list. Now, I generally try to keep this between 5 and 10, because the reality is that when you try to look at everything, you don't see anything. If you have too many, at least for me, if I have too many targets, I'm switching too much. I'm not paying attention. I'm not diving into them as much as I need to. So I try to keep that limited to the 5 to 10 best ideas, and then I will I'll pare that down. And then the other thing that I'll do is in the morning, I'll use the movers tool. And this is my favorite scan because this tool is just so damn easy to use. I come in here, I select gainers, pre-market, in session. This gives me a list of all of the stocks that are going to gap up. And then I just go down the list here on the ones that have higher volume. So you'll notice here's TAP. This is the one that we were just talking about this morning. I'll go in here and I'll just basically, the first step of technical analysis that I'll do is I'll just draw horizontal lines or price levels on the areas that have been put in this morning or in yesterday's after hour session, because those are going to be the first areas where the stock either reverses or finds support or resistance. And then the next thing that I'll do is I'll actually click on the daily, and I'll see if there are any daily levels that are in play, the daily chart, excuse me, and I'll see if there are any daily support or resistance levels in play at that time. So right here on TAP, we're actually hoping for this 1026 break. So one of the other things that I might do here, just in case things get a little nutty, I'm going to go ahead and add this other line here where this is this is like a resistance zone, right? So this is not necessarily a single point. You can see we have a couple of wicks here that are marking this area as a resistance zone. So I'm going to say that around 1150, TAP would encounter some resistance. So let's say we get an absolute monster out of the gate here, and this thing does run up, you know, almost $1. That's going to be one of my exit zones. So to answer your question, I use the screener tool the night before. I use the movers tool the morning of, and then I just do some technical analysis.
Bullish, is this also a pre-market scanner? Yeah, it can be. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the way that I would look at this is definitely a scanner. The reason that I call it movers is because that's effectively what it's finding, right? We're finding things that are moving around. Another scanner like our scanner or even our screener, there are other filters and parameters that you can search by. And I'm not necessarily doing that here in the movers tool. So while this is a scanner, it's not as complete or robust as something that you might be familiar with, but it's like that by design. Again, this took me 3 button clicks to get to where to get to what I needed to see. Right. And then after that, I'm basically just looking into the charts themselves.
Okay, so wait, let me just look at your screen real fast. I'm going to get a feel for what you're doing. You got your movers tool open. So do you, after the open, what I've always done is I've switched over to the actual scanner tool in Benzinga.
Yes.
Yeah. You do that as well.
Yes, I do. In fact, I have a workspace built for those scanners.
Yeah.
So in here, this is and while we're talking about this, Spence, this is probably my go-to scan right now. This is for when the market is open. It really, until we add relative volume, which is close. Believe me, guys, it's close. I'm on the backs of everyone every single day. It's coming. What I have right here is I have, again, the same liquidity filter that you saw in Screener, right? I'm only looking for stocks that have traded 1 million shares so far. And what's interesting about this is that the results that I get early in the morning are often more potent, I would say, because remember, if it's only 9:45 in the morning and a stock's already traded 1 million shares, there's not a ton of those. There's not a ton of those out there. And then on top of that, this scan is also going to find things that are trading up, right? So I have a percent change over the last minute, not a percent change on the day.
Yeah.
Percent change over the last rolling 1 minute window of 0.3. So I want something that's kind of going up. It doesn't have to be going up a lot because I want to catch some of those early moves, but I do want it to have a positive bias. And then finally, what I'm using in lieu of relative volume for the time being is volume over a rolling 1 minute window. And what this is going to do, I have 250,000 in here. So this is going to effectively show me things where the volume might be spiking and where the stock is going up on stocks that are already liquid. So that's going to help me identify things to look for. And then again, I do the exact same thing, right? You can see here, we've got a list of some of these stocks. What's interesting here is that 2 of these stocks are in my watch list. Emrin and TAT are in my watch list here. All right. And I'll just kind of take a look at the chart and I'll see if there's anything that really makes sense. Again, on TAT here, we're still waiting for this high a day break. This high break right around 1025. That's our spot here on TAT. So this is what I'll watch during the day, and tickers will pop in here and leave, and I'll check them out. And if there's a trade to be had, I'll go ahead and take it. I'm a big fan of waiting for the trade to come to you, so I try not to force things. And what that means is that sometimes I'll miss some of these trades, but that's okay because I'm stopping myself from playing something that I don't have familiarity with or taking a loss.
Mm-hmm. Great point. So what are you usually doing? It's 9:22 now. We got 8 minutes to the open. But by this point on any given day, you're done with your prep, right?
Yeah. But at this point, by any given day, I have to actually earn my paycheck here, and I'm doing work for BZ. So I'm talking to our great customers. I'm putting out fires. I'm getting ready for the day. Whatever the day calls for, that's what I'm doing. I try to get my preparation done as soon as possible because, Spence, you could get a piece of news 10 minutes before the open or even 30 minutes before the open.
We just got a piece of news. 4 deliveries just came out. So,
so there you go. So I try to get my prep done as early as possible because if something happens before the actual open, that might require new analysis. And I don't want to be mixing it, right? I want to be as prepared as possible. And on top of that, again, I still got to do work. I mean, I still got to do stuff.
I hear you.
So nice to see Lele. Nice to see you back again. Lele has been on an absolute tear recently. She's been dominating these trades here, at least on Friday. And I got a couple of other stocks here. These are actually from the Benzinga team. This is Big Five Sporting Goods.
Yeah, Mitch is talking about this.
Yeah. Yeah, Mitch has got a keen eye. Let me tell you guys, Mitch has got a really, really keen eye. I think I'm actually playing him in fantasy baseball right now. He probably doesn't want to talk about that because I'm pretty sure I'm whipping him right now. Let me see. Yep, this is a good match. This is a good. I don't want to talk crap. I don't want to talk crap. It's a good match. What, Mitch?
Pretty sure getting whooped.
It's actually pretty close. It's actually pretty close. I got make or break day for my pitching. Okay, anyway,
Trout's been killing me, man.
Oh, and so here's another stock. So this is interesting. This is not part. How much time do we have? 6 minutes. So AESE, this is a stock that I've actually been holding for a while. In fact, I've been underwater on this. My average price was $315. I'm only in it at a couple hundred shares, though. It's not like a big position for me. This is an esports company that we've talked about quite a bit in our happy hour show. And last night, I guess their shareholder meeting was postponed till yesterday. And yeah, it looks like July 1st. And I guess that there was some good news out of that meeting because yesterday in the post market, I guess there was a sale that was approved or something. I haven't really dug into it fully yet. But this might be in play today. Now, I'm not going to try necessarily to trade this today because I have a longer term, smaller position in this. I'm going to look at some of the other opportunities that we've identified here today. But as a note, AESE might be interesting today. It's a little discerning that it's kind of bled back all of the gains from yesterday, but we'll see what happens when the volume shows up today.
You just brought up a great point. I love I don't own that many stocks. I own probably less than 10 across all my accounts, but I love knowing and looking at and paying attention to corporate events, right? Shareholder meetings, annual meetings. If there's an analyst day for my stock, I love knowing about that stuff, and I pay close attention when they happen for what comes out of those things, because these companies are required to talk to us once a quarter for their earnings reports, and that's pretty much all they're required to do, and maybe the annual shareholders meeting, and that's pretty much all they're required to do. So anything else we get, whether it's an analyst day, some sort of special product launching demo day, whatever, I eat that stuff for breakfast.
Me too.
And so Ryan talking about AESE, they had what was it, an annual? Let me look it up.
Yeah, it was like a shareholder meeting, I believe, that got postponed.
Is a special shareholder meeting.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be on the 28th. It was postponed to yesterday. I pay close attention to that stuff in the stocks that I own, because that's where you get a lot of news that won't get talked about as much, or that's when investors have a real chance to talk to the team, right? So
yeah, and they also might disclose something new there for the first time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and a lot of times these aren't well covered, so they might disclose a thing, and you may not hear about it for a couple of weeks, a couple of months when they report earnings, and it's like, oh wait, they already disclosed that at their last whatever investor day, analyst day, whatever it was, right? So just a PSA, all these events should be available on your investor relations page for any company that's public. If they're not and you're long, you should email their IR and say what the hell, but I do pay attention to that, and Brian does too.
Yeah, and in fact, just to take that a step further, Spencer, I listen to every conference call, earnings conference call for stocks that I'm invested in for the long term.
Wow, I don't even do that.
so I've probably listened to every Apple earnings call, plus or minus one or two if I was busy that particular day.
Yeah,
I've probably listened to every Apple earnings call since 2014. Just because I've owned the stock for a long time. I mean, I want to know what's going on, right? There's so much information about as it applies to Apple, there's people that they're not innovating, they're not doing this. iPhones are going to be low, or the sales cycle is going to be low. Whatever the case is, you get a lot of clarity out of their conference calls, and I think that the analysts ask some really great questions, sometimes ones that I don't even think of, and it gives me some good insight. So I'm a big fan of them.
If you're wondering how Ryan listens to those calls, well, you can find him in Benzinga Pro. I just went to Ford because Ford had news, but you go to Ford, you go to your calendar tab, and you go to the details widget. You go to Ford, you go to your calendar tab. Look at that, we got a tab just for conference calls. Here's a table where you can access all the prior conference calls from Ford. These are mostly earnings, but not entirely, right? You see his monthly sales call. So anyway, all this stuff is available in Pro. Ryan clearly has a much greater tolerance for earnings calls than I do, because I do not listen to every call. I listen to maybe one call a year.
Well, this is every call on companies that I'm invested in. Like I have to have a rooting interest, and it has to be pretty deep. Like I'm not gonna do it on just some of these stocks that I trade. Really quick, Spencer. Tom's asking. I noticed the buy and sell buttons are there.
Yeah.
So let me address this real quick. It'll only take a sec. These are in here because I'm an internal employee, and this is a feature that we were testing for allowing users to buy and sell directly from Pro.
Right.
We still want to do that, but we can't do that until we actually develop it. The company we were working with got bought out mid-development cycle, so we had to reprioritize. So that's why they're left over. Eventually, you will be able to have this. They don't do anything. They don't do anything. I'm literally clicking on. They do nothing. So I cannot trade directly from here. You will be able to in the future. No timeline on that.
Yeah, but is there a way for me to get rid of it or no?
So I've been asking the development team to do that because I get asked about them. They have a ticket in process to hide these buttons, not to remove, but to hide them. Because again, we do want to release this later.
Great. Okay. All right, Ryan. It's about 9:30 in 10 seconds. So let's pop. I'm gonna pop over to my scanners tool, and I'm gonna be ready for the open here.
Good deal. Yeah, I'm looking at TAT. That's my main target. I'll call it out if I take the position. Remember, it's gotta meet what we're looking for here, right? So, looking for a trade down to the 942 area.
Let me make this a little bit. How that gets? There we go. All right. Let me bring up SPY.
And the other thing is, if it pops past 1024, I may try to scalp it there.
All right. You know what? Let's bring up your chart because you're watching TAT closely. I'm watching more so just overall market. I'm playing with my scanner. I'm playing with
if you see him, call him out because, like I said, I got tunnel vision right now on this one name.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Whoever just posted in chat about the Morgan Stanley price target on Tesla 900, I saw that as well.
Monster price target, man.
Yeah, Nate Millar. How was Tesla? Take a look at Tesla.
Tesla had an interesting pre-market selling off. It looks like it's got all of its gains back now.
Oh, let's find out. Here's a 1 minute. Don't typically like the 1 minute chart, but just I would never trade off this, but just to watch it.
The 1 minute chart, the thing for me is it's good for scalping. Other than that, I tend to watch larger time frames as well. Let me take a look at some of the other ones. TAT looks like it's got some indecision right now. Oh, man, Emran, this thing just keeps running. So we got asked about staff. Let's see. So far we dropped. We did go to this level. We did go to the support level. Looks like we bounced back. I don't know. We're trying to take out 482. I'd like to see it bounce from here. Unsure if that's going to happen. Okay, TAT looks like it might be gearing now. Okay, I'm going to take a stab at this, I think. I'm going to take a stab at this. I'm actually going to, let's see, if it's holding above 10 pretty good here.
You know what's selling off here? Donut, DNUT.
No kidding, Krispy Kreme.
It's at the top of I've got a scanner going, and I'm looking at stocks that are moving from the open, not from yesterday's close, from the opening bell. Donut is was first, now is second. Space is first. Atop of my losers scanner for the day. Krispy Kreme in Space. We told you guys, sell that freaking Space news.
Okay, so TAT, you got your pop. That was quick. You had to be fast to hit this. This is not the greatest opportunity here. We did get a pop above 1024. You ran 20 cents, but man, we plunged quickly. So being able to get in that ahead of 20, you kind of had to gamble on this trade. Not my favorite setup here. Not my favorite setup here, but a successful trade nonetheless. A small little scalp here on a 1024 pop. It went fast. I'm going to check in on some other names. Here's the thing. Now that we've got this put in, and I actually had my trading window open. Let me take. Okay, you've got my chart up. So now here's what I'm going to do. Now that this initial trade is over, or at least for right now, I'm marking off this 1039 line right here. The high print, I believe, was actually 1044. It says 1040 on here. It says, let me check my broker. It says 1044 on my broker. So 1040 seems to be the high print on TAT today. We did this on volume. All right, there was a bunch of volume here at the open. So my hypothesis is I don't know what's going to happen, but if TAT curls back and approaches this level again later today, at any time later today, I'm going to take that as a trade. So what I've done now is we don't have price alerts yet in Pro. They're coming. What I've done is I've put a price alert on TAT. So when this thing actually crosses above 1025, my broker is going to alert me. And when I put my eyeballs on this, I'm waiting for 1040 to fall on volume. And what I might do here is compare the volume to the volume stick that we see here right out of the open. Okay, we've got these two big, well, there's three big sticks, but these two big sticks here that happened right after the open. I want to measure the volume stick against that, right? So we're kind of selling off here. Let's see if we find support at 942 or thereabouts. And if at any point later today this curls back towards the high, I'm going to look to scalp this again. And I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be able to get at least a dime on a scalp like that, probably even a little bit more, especially since we've already broken this once today. So one very small trade in the bag, nothing to write. We call this a plate liquor trade, right? This is the meal's done. You got a little bit of the steak sauce left, and you're licking the plate off. That's what you like. That's what today's trade was. Not a huge one. Let's see what Lele did. She's been killing it. No posted trade yet. We'll see if that changes. I see OSG in the chat. Let's take a look at OSG.
Yeah, they got a unsolicited takeover offer.
Yeah, and so this is a nice little bounce right out of the open here. Not the greatest, not the most obvious support level. So it would have been a little tough to take this, but not bad. And it looks like we got 13 cents out of that at the high.
Yeah, well, the offer was $3 a share in cash.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so
they're basically buying up anything that's under $3, right? Acquire all of outstanding shares of the company not already owned for $3.
Yeah, so we're at 292. So we're pricing an 8-cent arbitrage. That's the market saying this kind of they're probably going to take it, but they may not.
Roku looks like it's bouncing off of yesterday's lows. Interesting story about an actual trade from the Benzinga community. Okay. We discussed yesterday we discussed Roku, but the day before on this big run up we discussed Roku, and we took a look at the daily chart. And we're like, boy, this really looks strong. Think it's going to take out the previous high. Technically, it looks like we're set up to go. I was like, yeah, I wouldn't short this. And there was a very nice young lady in our happy hour who's been coming on quite a bit who said, you know what, I'm going to take a put at the open. Took a put at the open on Roku yesterday and was banking by the time we had our happy hour show in the evening. So she faded me and she made a whole bunch of money. I patted her on the back.
Very nice. Very nice. Sam is saying space is hot. Well, it's off its low of the day. That's something. It's still near the top of my loser board, but it's not nearly as it was at the top a few minutes ago, but it's trying to bounce here. Very interesting in space.
You know, this is an interesting stock. I'll tell you what, Spencer, this is one that I want to own. I just can't do it. I can't seem to stomach, just take it. Like the prospect of going into space or of taking other people into space, that captures my imagination like a young boy. I can't help it. It's so cool, but I don't know how to necessarily trade around it. I've gotten lucky on some of these, but this is a tough one. This is a tough one to predict.
Yes.
Looks like we are bouncing here off of the right out of the open. So we'll see if this actually makes it back to some of those pre-market levels around 55.
All right. What else do I got on my movers tool? Yeah, Roku is ripping here.
Emrin coming back a little bit. All right, so staff, interesting staff. We got almost our trade plan so far. Pretty close, not quite. We didn't bounce cleanly off 482. This can always be a little bit of trouble because this can flush people out of their stops. But we're getting the action that we hoped for, right? We came back into the support level. Now we're bouncing there. But it looks like we already took 504 out and we kind of crashed back below it. So let's see if we can actually trade above it and hold. I think if we do, we will probably see 540 today. To me, until this reverses, I mean, I guess we do have, if you consider the pre-market here, we are kind of on a intraday downtrend, but I like to see this, right? I like to see a stock a little bit weak out of the open, and then bounce on volume. So I think if this volume holds up and we continue to trade up here, 540 not out of the question here in staff. We'll kind of watch this one. Let me get rid of this trend line. This is an interesting one. So I think there were a couple of people in here that were trading staff. I hear Tesla's ripping. Let's just take a quick look at Tesla. Oh, Tesla is ripping. Wow.
Oh, 700. It's got a 700 straight
Hey guys,
line.
don't want to interrupt, but just want to put one on radar that's moving big that we talked about pre-market. ASTS moving. This is a space stock starting to get a squeeze there, all the way up there to 1360 from $13. Really quick squeeze there. We talked about this one pre-market. It could run with the space stocks.
We did. It's moving. It's moving with Virgin Galactic, right? It dipped at the open. Same with Space. Bottomed out around 5 minutes into the session, and boom, Space looks exactly the same way. I mean, not quite the same to the upside, but follow the leader. Who's the leader now? Space is your leader, right? Space goes up. Space goes up. This goes up. ASTS goes up. Space goes down.
Absolutely. This is the basket. This is the basket, right? If you identify a hot theme or a hot basket of stocks, trade them all. Or trade the ones that you're comfortable with. Take multiple shots at that because you might be able to kind of compound your gains. 1362. This looks like the level we want to break. We broke. We hold above it. I think trade is on now, right? As long as Space continues to be strong, this thing can keep running. Good spot here, Mitch. Sorry, I didn't have this one on my watch list. Really good spot on this one.
Wish is also ripping as well. Again,
Wish. This is. Did I show you my Wish lighter? I'll show you when I'm in Detroit. The lighter I bought off Wish when I just got sucked in.
Is it a piece of garbage?
I don't want to say garbage, but like it's it was worth what I paid. I paid $19. I'm not pissed about it. Let me just leave it at that. But I wouldn't necessarily do most of my shopping on Wish. Just saying. And I actually didn't realize it was for Wish. One of the happy hour viewers told me about it.
I want to look at Boeing here. I just saw this and I saw it in Pro. They got the breaking news banner on the bottom there. CNBC reporting a Boeing 737 cargo plane is in the water off of Honolulu. So Boeing is trading down 1.6% today. But you really can see the big red candle there. That's when the news hit. So we do have a news event in Boeing happening right now. I don't know anything more. I just know what the headline is and Benzinga.
Yeah, is that airline again, Spencer? Just to make sure.
A Boeing 737 cargo plane.
You didn't specify the airline, Mitch.
All right, that's perfect. I'm going to try to find that. Try to find out whose plane it was.
Yeah, good idea, because there's a couple of things at play here, right? So I understand that it's a Boeing plane, and so that's why we're seeing the reaction in Boeing. A couple of things to consider here. As Mitch said, he's going to try to find out the airline. That's one thing to take a look at. The other thing to take a look at here is, or to keep your ears open for, is what happened. We don't know what happened. Was it a plane failure? Was it a pilot error? If it was a pilot error, I expect this dip to get bought. And there's your trade, right? So we heard the news that there's a plane in the water. We're still waiting for some more. Okay, timeout. Let's hope everyone is safe.
Yeah.
Okay, but from a trading perspective, we're hoping to hear some more information about what happened so we can actually trade this event. We don't. If it was a Boeing engine failure, if it was a mechanical failure of a Boeing plane, that's one thing.
Reuters is saying engine trouble, but again, it is so early here. But Boeing has just made a new low of the day there. So
yeah, we did see in the news feed here, that's interesting. We did see some so we're seeing put sweeps at the ask, puts at the ask, call sweeps near the bid. So maybe that was people waiting to buy calls that when the price came in, or even people selling calls. Interestingly enough, so yeah, it looks like there's some option flow coming in here now after this news event. So I suspect that this might be an all-day trader here, Spencer. We might be getting news flow about this all day.
Yeah,
all day.
Fortunately.
Take a look at some of the other stocks here that I had on my watch list. BSQR, this has been kind of a rager recently. We're kind of bouncing around in between this range here. Really need to clear out 505 before there's any type of obvious or easier trade here. Melco's a Chinese gambling stock. I'm big on the gambling stocks. I was playing Caesars. I think I play Win regularly. This one more Macau based. GDYN. This is one that I came off of the scan from yesterday. I'm waiting for 1927 to get cleared out here. If this happens on volume, this is a swing long or a potential scalp. REI. This also came off the scan yesterday. We're looking to break this resistance zone of 332 to 335.
Chris Love says this sold him on Benzinga Pro. Hey, we don't have to sell you. I mean, you can get it free for 2 weeks, right?
Yeah,
Pro.benzinga.com. Try it for free. If it's for you, great. If it's not for you, it's not for everyone. It's okay. Free 2-week trial. There's a discount code at the bottom of the screen there. Promo code Benzinga30. But yeah, just so you know. Free trial.
And it's a really good point. And don't let the trial sell you. The trial's free. Doesn't require a credit card. Automatically expires at the end if you don't do anything. Let that sell you, because if it's successful for you, if it makes you more money, that's what we want. We want everyone to be able to make more money, benefit from the tools that you use.
Oh yeah, I also forgot to ask for some likes. Let's go drop us a like, guys. Let's go. Give Ryan a like. Give the video a like. It helps us on YouTube. Smash the like button. Thank you very much. What else we got today? Somebody mentioned
Staff. Joe, I see Joe in here. I think I like Staff. This to me, I really do think we are going to test 540. I really do. Let me take a look. Let me get this on deck, as they say in the baseball world.
We got some very hard resistance at 700 in Tesla. We gotta sell. We gotta sell her.
Yeah, we do. Here, let me pull Tesla up while we're kind of waiting for Staff to shake out here. Oh yeah! Oh my gosh! It went right to 700 and got rejected. Interesting. Yeah. I wish I was watching the level 2 at that time. Big volume here today. Big volume here today. Much bigger than yesterday. Interesting. Look at Staff, guy. I took it off my screen for one. That's what happens. Told you 540 in play. What did I tell you guys? Hit 540. Boom. 540 high print. We cleared that out. 551 now. I mean, here we go. That was it. That was your trade.
Nice job.
Yep. That was your trade. Oh man, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. We were all over this. Joe, I think it's Joe Dagger, man. Hope you crush that. Hope you crush that. We were all over that. This plan pretty much worked out. Didn't go to the penny. That's another thing here with technical analysis, folks. Remember, these points, these are not set in stone. These are areas. They're fungible. It often doesn't go to the penny. The Tesla 700 to the penny print, that's actually the rarity. A lot of these will go and test areas. This is exactly what we got here, right? We carved out a range. We went back into a support area. We actually traded a bit below this and was almost 20 full cents, 15 cents below this area. And then we bounced hard. We bounced nearly $1 off of that support area. These are the type of trades that you try to take advantage of intraday.
Great point.
Ryan's a G, but he gives me FOMO. Okay, I no, that's actually really good feedback, Jordan. I will try to work on that because FOMO is something that really affected me as a young trader. And I grew up on FinTwit, so I was watching a lot of other traders be successful, hit trades over and over again, and I wasn't quite there in my own ability. That's really good feedback. I'm going to try to make an adjustment and focus in on just a couple so that I don't make it more difficult for you. Thank you for that feedback.
You know what's giving me FOMO right now is Happy Muhammad on this freaking TSP.
Let's take a look at TSP. I have no angle there.
Recent IPO. Oh my God, it's up 7% again. We had them on pre-market prep like a month or two ago.
You guys on pre-market prep, man, you are uncovering some gems on that show. You are uncovering some gems on that show.
TSP every day with this thing. So 7% today. Is there news? Probably not. Look at this chart. This is ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. Oh my gosh.
Every day.
Oh my gosh. Interesting. SLG, let's take a look. SLGG is moving. I wonder if that's off of the AESE movement. Let's take a look here. SLGG, nothing crazy. AESE definitely moving up. This might be in play later today, actually. 270 looks like a spot to maybe take out right now.
What is FOMO? FOMO stands for fear of missing out. Fear of missing out.
Yeah,
and jealousy, aka why couldn't I have found that trade before?
And so that actually is another Spencer, you asked me at the top of this. You asked me at the top of this, how do you form your trades? Well, when I was going through that scanner, there were tons of results, tons and tons of results. And the reason that I don't put tons and tons of results on my watch list is partly for FOMO. Number one, I want to be able to track tickers. And the more you have, the harder that is. The other thing is that the more that you put on there, the more FOMO you might be experiencing. The stock that I was watching TAT here. We got a trade. It was a little trade. I didn't really make a lot on it. I missed the trade on Staff, which was the bigger trade. If I was having FOMO, I might be trying to trade them both. Then maybe I make a mistake trading one of them, or worse, I make a mistake trading both of them. So it's different for everyone. I try to keep a list to a manageable size so that I can keep my emotions in check. And that size, that amount, that's going to be different from everyone. When I first started, it was one stock or even two stocks. Now I can handle, closer to 10 at once when I have them in like a watch list format like this. But do whatever you can to be able to battle that. You're the biggest battle you're going to have every single day is the battle against yourself.
With yourself. It's hard. It's hard being you.
It is. It is.
Yeah, totally hear that. All right. So Ryan, just recap here. We got about 10 minutes before you're going to hop off here. We made one trade today, right?
Yeah, we were 1 for 1 on successful trades today. We did a scalp of TAT. We hit it for about 10 cents. So really nothing to write home about, just a plate liquor trade. The interesting thing here is we missed a really good setup that took a little bit longer to form here on staff. I'm actually going to watch this stock throughout the rest of the day, though. Same with TAT, right? I'm waiting for these levels to kind of get taken out. Looks like we got a bit of a price adjustment here on our chart too, which is really good. Let me go ahead and raise this here. All right. So I'm going to look for these later on in the day. Remember, I set a price alert for TAT to alert me at about 10:25 when the stock is approaching that high. If it does, we'll see if it does. Staff, I'm kind of waiting here. We're kind of in no man's land. Emrin, I passed on just because it was just way too hot out of the gate for me to gamble. We've kind of given it back and we've traded off of this. Then the other stock, as you mentioned, Spence, we're going to be watching Boeing all day, I suspect. Yes. The way I'd like to trade this is I'd like to be able to get in some short dated calls near a support level. So I'm going to actually have to chart this one out and plan. I don't have that ready. So I'll probably do that as soon as we jump off. Maybe I'll start doing it while we're on here right now.
Yeah, this is going to be the news of the day. Randy from
I agree. I totally agree.
Randy from Newsdesk just told me to talk about it. And I was like, we're talking about it, man. I mean, this is going to be.
We're talking about it. All right.
So Boeing, you're watching Boeing. I'm watching the three things I'm watching today: Boeing, Space, and Tesla. Tesla only because that 700. I mean, let me pull up my pro here because I've got get Tesla up there. There we go. Tesla, my pro. Okay, you've got this thing just boom. Two 1 minute candles denied again. I mean, line in the sand if you've ever seen one, right? 700. So watching that, I'm also watching Didi. How is Didi doing? They totally. Let me get my view up off there. Actually, no, I'll keep it on. We
had big news this morning.
They just totally, I'm going to say, fleeced the retail investor on this one. This is ridiculous. 2 days after the IPO, they disclose a cybersecurity probe against the company. They're going to halt new account creations. Jeez Louise, guys. Anyway, stock opened lower, but you can see it opened at the low of the day. Okay, opened at 1496. Low of the day is 1460. We're a buck above that now, more or less. So interesting. I'm watching Didi. I'm watching Space. How is Space doing? I don't know what to make of that. I'm watching Tesla and I'm watching Boeing. Those are kind of the four things on my radar for the day.
Real quickly here, Spencer, we got asked about AMC, so I suppose we might as well address it.
We talked about this on about 40 minutes ago. 50 minutes ago. I love this chart. I mean, the chart is just bunching and bunching and bunching. And Dennis and I have a bet. Brian, I want to hear what you think. Dennis and I bet. So it's what does AMC hit first? 40 or 67? I said 40. He said 67.
I'm with you.
You're with me. I'm sorry. No. Reverse that. He said 40. I said 67.
I'm with Dennis.
Okay.
Yes, Sensei. I am with Sensei. Okay, so I think it goes to 40. We basically have little bit of a kind of a flag here. I basically drew this with a flat on my chart. I basically drew this with just the trend line. I drew a flagpole, and then I drew the trend line from the top down, and then I drew the trend line from the base back to the flagpole here. We've now broken beneath that. If I can zoom in here, we've kind of broken beneath that. Now, in reality, none of this matters. If there were enough Reddit or Wall Street's Bets people that saw just my chart, nobody Ryan, if they saw my chart and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to invalidate this right now, they easily could. The reality is if there's a close below this trend line, I think we start going back towards some of these lows. I would say the next stop is probably 42. Probably bounce a little bit there, but ultimately that price right here at 40, I think that's what we see before. What was it, 67 or 70?
67.
67. So you didn't go the key level at 69. You went 67.
I didn't pick the levels. Dennis did.
Okay. So Dennis clearly missed the key level at 69. We won't fault him for that. I do think we go back down to 40 instead of 67.
And thinking about it in the chat, there is no time frame. It's whatever comes first, 40 or 67. I'm saying 67. Dennis is saying 40.
So the question about time frame is actually a good one. I too do not have a time frame. There was no time frame on your bet. That's true. No. But it's a good question from a trading perspective, right? Because I always want to set up all of my trades with some type of time horizon in mind already. So to answer that question here, this is what I'll say. I think it's thinking about it. Yeah, thinking about it. I would say the longer that we flag and compress like this, the sooner and sooner. That sounds counterintuitive, but the longer we do that, the sooner and sooner you're going to get that break move where it actually moves with velocity. If that move has started today, I would say we could see 40 next week. So there's your time frame. I could easily be wrong, and if I am wrong, I expect you to be back in here telling me how wrong I was. So if we hold here, if we hold below this trend line at the close, I think we see 40 next week. I'll go ahead and say it. If I don't get it, come on back here and let me know. I don't trade these meme stocks because I'm not very good at predicting the future. It's just how it is.
Okay. Let me go back into my movers tool. What do we got going? I should say my scanner and
staff, man, higher lows since we hit that low print at about 470. It's just been higher lows ever since then. I think we actually hit 540 again. I may take another stab at staff here later on in the day. I'm not going to chase this green candle right here. I'm going to kind of wait for it to set up and base, but these higher lows, it looks like this wants to go higher. We got asked about this earlier. It looks like this one wants to go higher. Take a look. We got Express. Someone in the chat asking about Express. Oof, that is a rough looking chart. That is a rough. I don't see buyers anywhere. It looks like we're just kind of pulling back here, though. And the daily doesn't look bad. Intraday chart looks kind of rough. Maybe we find a bottom here around 650. I'd look for something a little bit easier to trade than this, my friend.
What else? My top mover today from the open is ALEC, ALEC, Alector. ALEC. What's going on here? This is a low flow play.
Oh man,
what is this? They announced a deal with GlaxoSmithKline, GSK. What is it? GlaxoSmithKline.
Yep.
Collaboration. Let me bring up so you can see. It's on the bottom there. Collaboration for the development and commercialization of 2 monoclonal antibodies designed to prevent PGRN levels. PGRN is a crucial regulator of immune activity in the brain with genetic links to neurodegenerative disorders. Alector will receive $700 million in upfront payments and is eligible to receive an additional $1.5 billion in milestone payments. Alector will lead the development of the phase 2 trial. So ALEC up 87% now today on this. What was it, like halted pre-market or something? I wonder why.
No, it doesn't look like it. It looks like it just didn't get digested until the open.
No, it got it.
Was it halted?
No, but it got digested. This thing closed at what? Closed at $22 yesterday. And
no,
and it was up all pre-market. So.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm sorry. This is all up in the pre. No, you're right. We really have a continued run here.
Yeah.
You know what I'd like to see here? Let's talk about this from a trading perspective. This is one of my favorite formations in the market. We got 2 minutes here. I'm going to try to wrap this up quick. This is one of my favorite formations in the market. You get a stock that gaps up on some type of event, and we're going to end up calling this a floating island here. So, Spence, you want to throw my chart up just real quick?
Yep.
All right. So what I did basically here is I took a look at the daily and I marked off the previous high that we put in 2020. But this right here, this is your floating island candle. I would say, in my experience, 80% of this formation, 80% of the time, this formation resolves to the upside. 80% of the time. So what I would like to see here in terms of a trade plan to kind of minimize my risk is I would actually like to see ALEC come back in towards the 31 handle and hold it and then start to reverse. And if it does, I already have my targets ready. My first target is going to be 36. My second target is going to be 43 and change. All right. So again, the way that you play this floating island is you let this stick form. It's going to take all day for this stick to form. Hopefully over the next couple of days or weeks, the stock comes back in a little bit and the support holds. If this support holds, that's your trigger. This might be a swing long risk on. And we already have two levels that we've identified as possible support and resistance levels. That might be your scaling out point if you do end up taking this trade. So Alec, no trade for me today. I want this stick to form. And then over the next couple of weeks, I'll watch this for a potential floating island trade for it to come back in towards 31, hold, and then move back towards the highs.
All right. Good situational analysis. And
you always got to be thinking about that, right? Because I don't know what the future is going to hold. So I have to be prepared no matter what the future is.
Exactly. Always have an in. If you're going to have an in, you got to have an out.
Right. Absolutely. Always have a backup plan and plan for both scenarios. Plan for when you're right and plan for when you're wrong. Don't just plan for when you're right. You're going to be disappointed a lot.
Yeah, this morning on the show, we were talking about algorithms and coding, and I made an if-then joke. But all trading is if-then. If this happens, then I do that.
Right.
If that happens, then I do this. That's it.
You got it.
That's it. It really, actually, I said trading. The same goes for investing, right? Unless you're buying and holding forever. But really, if this happens, then that happens. You got to.
I just want to check in on a couple of more swings. Remember last week we had some news about the Hershey private plane being in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay, so I took a trade on that, right? I took a trade on that. The buyers stepped in here. It started to sell off a little. Buyers really stepped in here. I'm long some calls. I'm long the 180 calls. Let me get the expiry there. I think they're the Julys. So this has got to happen real quick. I haven't heard any other news other than that. Maybe we'll wake up to that on Tuesday. Yeah, I'm in the July 180 calls, hoping for this to actually break the highs here and perhaps get taken out. So that's one. I got another undiscovered gem. Go ahead.
Just want to interrupt right quick. Be transparent like we always like to do, guys. I just got stopped out of Stitch Fixed. I got in there at 63. Yeah, 63, stopped out right there at 61.70.
Good discipline. Good discipline. Wait for your setup. Yep.
Sometimes we win some, sometimes we lose some. Today we lose some, and it's okay as long as it's managed. 2% loss, I'll be okay.
I lost last week on the live trade, Mitch, and I came back and was able to get it this week. So good discipline on Stitch Fix.
Ryan, finish your thought, and then I'll share my last.
Yeah, two real quick thoughts. I'm gonna give you the two best stock picks that we have from the happy hour over the past couple of weeks. Okay. NAIA. This is a company that makes supplements for different like vitamins and things like that. This company should have an amazing quarter next quarter, and that's against the backdrop of people wanting to be healthier after the pandemic. So keep your eye on NAIA. I wouldn't necessarily chase the green candle here, but watch this. I think this stock goes to 30 in the future. The other big one here is going to be Chara. This is longer term play, 12 to 18 month play here. I know that there are a lot of really smart people that are interested in this particular stock. They do remediation for coal and steel plants, which is mandated. I suspect you're going to get more government contracts. If we have an infrastructure bill, there's going to be headline news here. I think in the next couple of years, ticker CHRA here, you could conceivably see between 30 and 50 on the equity. So I'm in this for a little bit longer term. This is not a day trade. Stop on Chara here is going to be 350. Again, looking for double digits, possibly 30s in the future.
And one recent trade I made that I lost money on, but maybe if I had paid closer attention to it, I could have saved it. If you're watching a couple days ago, I said that I bought this CRTD. I literally saw a tweet, and I bought it off of the tweet. I bought it off. It was a tweet from I don't even remember who, and it was talking about the short interest and the potential for short covering and low float. And I said, okay, it's cheap. Well, let me just take a stab at it. I threw out an order. I got in. I threw out a trailing stop at $3.50. Nice round number. So I got in around here, somewhere around there. And I got stopped out the following day at $3.50. So right right pretty much there off the open. So I missed that green candle. But I can't be looking at this all day, every day, right? I'm on with you guys. I'm doing other things. So in this case, I bought there, sold there for a little bit of a loss. It is what it is. You move on with your life. That's it.
Right. You know how many times you know how much better you feel when you sell a bag and you move on, and you can compound that feeling. If you sell something that wasn't working and then you buy something that works, it changes your entire perspective on things. Yeah. Learn to keep those losers small. That will keep you. I saw a couple of weeks ago, Dennis tweeted something that, it's the trade that you don't take that keeps you in this game. And few people understand that. And I retweet, I couldn't agree with him more. The ones that you don't take that keep you safe, that's going to allow you to trade the next day. That's where it's at, man.
Yep.
And real quick shout out, Richard. Thanks for the kind words, man. Really appreciate it. Great participation in the happy hour. Good to see you again. Thanks for the kind words. Have a great weekend and enjoy your holiday.
All right. See you, Ryan. Happy July 4th, man. Don't forget, we are working Monday, so I expect to see you online. And
nice try.
No?
Nice try. I'm off on Monday.
What? I
for you, bro. The market's closed.
I thought we were working on Monday, no?
Yeah, I would have been the only one that showed up. I would have looked at Slack and it would have been a ton of skull emojis as Spencer's laughing at me for showing up on a Monday. Have a great weekend, folks. Enjoy.
All right. See, man. That's Ryan Faloona. The guy is a beast, and let's take him off the screen there. There it is. All right, guys, great. Guys, if you want more of Ryan, one thing I should mention is that we do a lot of webinars, a lot of Benzinga Pro webinars. Some of them we make available to the general public. Like, we do webinars every Tuesday evening. We may go a few nights a week there on YouTube, but there are webinars every single day in Benzinga Pro. Jonathan Mallard, Ryan Faloona, Nick Shaheen, my man Rodrigo. Every day we're doing webinars. That's one of the things that you get with Pro. You get hour-long sessions on how to use the whole platform, right? So we mentioned, we talk about the bells and whistles. We talk about the scanner tool, the charts, the news, the data, all that good stuff. You also get webinars, and you also get the chat, the ability to show two chats, one chat in here and the other chat to talk with our news desk. You can message the news desk right now. I messaged Brent on the stream 2 days ago. We had that kind of little conversation about a stock, and that's part of the platform. So again, pro.benzinga.com, free 2-week trial, or promo code Benzinga30 to get 30% off an annual subscription. Okay, I'm going to bring on my man Drew Levine in a second here, but let's just hang out for a few minutes and talk about what's up, what's down. Let me close that out, make my screen a little bit bigger. Stitch Fix is up because Mitch just talked about it. Okay, what I'm seeing today is a lot of continuation, right? Continuation from the pre-market. CRNC was up this morning in the pre-market session. Why? They had news that they were joining, what was it, the mid-cap, the Russell mid-cap something, right? They're joining the S&P mid-cap 400. They're replacing ATGE. So the stock was up in the let's go to a bigger chart, okay? So you can see CRNC. Okay, the stock was up in the pre-market session. This is a 15-minute chart, and just continuation at the open, after the open, continuation during the session. What stock did I say it was replacing? ATGE. See, now that's interesting. These headlines of stocks moving into and out of indexes doesn't have to mean a stock can go up or should go down, right? It really just depends on how much money is pegged to each index. There are obvious examples where, like, the S&P 500, the Russell 2000, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the Nasdaq 100, right? These are the biggest indexes, and yeah, those are going to be a net buying event because they're so huge. But for an index like the S&P, what is it? The S&P mid-cap 400, not the biggest index. It's got to come out of some other one, right? So this one is ATG is going somewhere that it's going in whatever index that Serene, I don't know how do you even say that, CRNC was in. Regardless, they're both up this morning, which is interesting. Okay, SWBI is the biggest loser on my filters here this morning. This thing's been a runner. It's been ripping. every day. This and the other one, right? POWW. I've just been ripping. Let's go to a daily. Look, Rip City. Not so much yesterday, I guess, but let's just compare. Guy. Oh man, Rip City in these two. 15-minute chart. Let's look at today. Yep. Look, they're trading together. We talk about relationships all the time. Relationships. You see one dude for right now. It may not be forever, but for right now, these things are pretty highly correlated, right? One goes up, the other goes up. One goes down, the other goes down. What does that mean? If you see a headline on SWBI, go to PAL. You see a headline on PAL, go to SWBI, right? Okay, back up to the chat. What do we got here? Okay, what's going on with ITRM? Trade and invest. Is there news? There very well might be news. ITRM. Wow, a few headlines here. What do we got? Late Thursday, reported that they received a letter from the FDA. So the FDA stated, as part of their ongoing review of the company's NDA, that's a new drug application, the agency has identified deficiencies that preclude the continuation of the discussion of labeling and post-marketing requirements at this time. So FDA saying, no, slow down. You guys got to give us more information. Any sort of holdup in the regulatory approval process is seen as a negative catalyst for healthcare stocks. Thank you. ITRM, pull up a nice big chart. All right, trading down 31%. Let's zoom out. Let's just get a longer term perspective on this. All right, let's zoom way the hell out there. Okay, so, look at that gap. Isn't that interesting? All right, what do we got there? So let's go find what the headline was here. But whatever it was on the 28th, we gapped up. The low of that day was $1.38. That was your low on May 28th. What's our low today? $1.36. Interesting. We do have some support here. We've got some support. We know that stocks tend to fill gaps. They don't have to, but it's a general rule of thumb that they tend to fill gaps. So ITRM for the moment, this gap is holding up. We have a floor. If you want to go long, you can go long and lean on that low of $1.30, whatever, $1.38, $1.36. Call it $1.34. That way, give yourself, or maybe even $1.30, right? $1.30, you give yourself some breathing room. You fall to that, get out, right? Falls below that, could go up down here to the mid $1 area, right? So yeah, I could throw out an order, get long, put in a stop at 130, get out. That's how I'd play it. Okay, thinking about it. AMC. Oh boy, don't tell me that. Oh God. Oh Jesus. I'm gonna owe Dennis donuts, aren't I? I feel like I'm gonna owe Dennis some donuts. Ridiculous. I swear that guy is like undefeated in bets. Ridiculous. What else? Great question, WK Harris. I didn't forget. WK Harris, I did not forget about the chat challenge. Let's recap that. It was a very spontaneous thing we did on the stream. It was like Tuesday at, what was it? It was like Tuesday at like 3 o'clock we did this, or maybe it was, I don't even remember if it was Monday or Tuesday. Aaron Bree, Mitch Hodge, and myself did a very spontaneous chat challenge. And it was so spontaneous, we didn't really think it through. The winner will win some free swag. Okay, that's the answer. The winner will win some free swag. But let's go through the picks here one by one. Okay. And it was measuring the close. Yeah, it was Monday. We were measuring the Monday's close to Friday's close. Okay. So the picks were in no particular order. JB had ASPS. All right, we're not looking great there. I had LZ. I was giving myself a harder time because I had an IP. A stock that wasn't even open on Monday. Okay, this didn't even open till Wednesday. Okay, I at least I'm up, right? At least I'm up. Johnny Black had Baba. How's Baba doing? Johnny Black's not going to win. Hurt Scrambler had REPX. No. Hurt. No. All right. Ron Willis had EXEL. All right. What was that? The 20. Those. Okay. So what was the close here? 18. All right. EXEL is kind of flattish. I don't think that's going to cut it. We had 2 people pick Wish. Aaron Bree and Rich N both went with Wish. They are down. Not going to cut it. Mitch went with RSI. Anybody up here? Is anybody up in their pick? RSI is down. WK Harris, you went with Alf, didn't you? All right. Jesus. Is anybody's pick up? Hugo went with Tilray. No. Daniel O went with MMAT. Metamaterials. No. Brandy had PTRA. Flat to downish. Hugo also had a Wish. Hugo C had a Wish. Robert S had AI. Robert, you might be our winner. We'll find out. Oh God, I think was LegalZoom, was my pick the only one that's actually up? Oh God, no one is up. We just went through all of them. I'm up. It looks like I'm up. Jesus, what a joke! All right, Drew Levine is here. Let's bring Drew on. Drew, what's up, man? Wait, why is it so dark? Turn the light on. There you go.
The lights in this room are kind of bad, but
we can see you.
Never really tell. What's going on?
Oh, just talking about our horrible picks for the week.
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty unfortunate. Kind of summarize how my week went. Thought I was doing pretty well in the middle with Wish coming up, and then it's coming right back down.
Yeah. Wow. All right. I never want to stray too far from my scanner tool because it shows me what's moving here. So, MongoDB is trading higher. I had an offering a couple days ago. $900 million offering. Upsized offering. They actually increased the size there. 2.3 million shares. This was out on Tuesday. Let's go to a daily here. MongoDB. Okay. Interesting. All right, Drew, tell us more about your week, man. Why so down?
I mean, not so down, but I made a nice trade on Wish. Everything was going well. Made a little ad on the way up. And then now stock's kind of coming around the corner. It's pulling down. Palantir, one of my favorites, was rallying.
I haven't looked at Palantir for like a week.
Looks like we're going to go all the way past 25.50. Looks like we're coming up strong.
Oh,
and maybe it's a healthy pullback.
Look at that double top, Drew. Ooh. What's that?
Today it looks like we're popping up, but it is what it is, It was looking healthy there for a while. So that's fun. Voyager Digital is up today, which is interesting because crypto is down. Coinbase is down, right? Blockchain is down. I don't know about Mara, but, Bitcoin space pulling back. But Voyager Digital says, I don't need that. I don't take else. So we'd love to see that.
Hey, I actually made a trade yesterday. I've been talking about it for a while, which I tend to do a lot. I tend to talk about things a lot before I buy them. I like to let it ruminate and marinate. But I bought Airbnb finally after months of wanting to. I pulled the trigger yesterday afternoon. So, and I'm not in this for a trade. It's not a day trade. It's not a swing. I mean, swing trade is a vague term. A swing trade could mean, a couple weeks or can mean 8 months. I have no clear time horizon on this. It would be great if I could hold this long term, but I'm not about. This is not one that I'm willing to sit on a loser for a while for. So
really,
I've got like a level in mind. I've got to give myself some room. So I've got a level in mind of like that low right there from 610 is 141. You got a couple of those there actually in the 140 area. So if I fall below, I don't have any stops. I don't have any stops or anything, but I'll keep an eye on it. If it falls below 140, I may be inclined to get the hell out. This is not one that I'm willing to take a lot of heat on. And some of you may say $10, that's a lot of heat. It's a small position in the grand scheme of things. And I do want to give myself some room. A lot of my portfolio, like I was up in like everything, right? So was everyone else. I was up in everything in January and February, right? And now I've obviously come off a long ways with a lot of those growth things that I own. For example, ARKW, right? I'm still up, but I'm well off of where I was before, right? I own KWeb, up but well off. Look, it was over 100 now, we're down to 67, right? So I'm okay with taking heat on these, giving back some gains. I do not want to do the same. I do not want to take a bunch of heat in Airbnb. So that's my general plan here is we'd love to own it long term. We'll love to see it go higher. If it falls below 140, then I don't know how much pain I'm willing to take here. Because recent IPO, not a lot of chart history. I don't even know if options are options are available, but I don't know. Just, recent issue. Don't want to take a lot of heat. So, but anyway, I'm long Airbnb on the list. How is Rodrigo? Rodrigo wants to know about ARKK. Well, these are, you know what? Actually, ARKK was among the top ETFs for the first half of the year in terms of inflows. It was like in the top, I think 5 or 6. Right, talk about ETFs that took in the most money, that grew the most in terms of size of the fund, money coming in. ARKK was on that list. It was a lot of like boring stuff. It was a lot of like SPY. The Qs were on there. Some like S&P funds, boring, broad stuff like plain vanilla, and then you had ARKK on there. So for all the talk about Cathie being overbought. And the bubble bursting and growth stocks and all the risk that that they have in owning a disproportionate amount of the float in all these stocks, and all the buying on the dip she does. For all the talk about that, it happened in February, March, April, May, whatever. A lot of money poured into ARKK in the first half of the year, so there's a lot of people still buying this thing.
So are you saying that they're kind of, it is shown that there was not like you call it like a mini bubble. I mean, there's a pullback because so much money was inflowing, right?
Pullback.
And like these guys that, build these models and they're doing all this stuff and, people are continuously buying it. It's going to push over prices and they're just going to take profits and exit.
Yeah. Well, what that means is that, this says nothing about the fund's performance, but it does speak to like underlying investor confidence, right? If you see a lot of outflows, it means the fund is shrinking. People are pulling their money out of the fund because they don't like the fund's performance. The fact that you see a lot, I don't have the numbers at hand. I know there was a lot though. I could probably pull it up and just Google it real fast. But the fact that you saw a lot of inflows in the first 2 quarters of the year, what? Let's go to my favorite site. Let's do this. I'll do it on my screen here so y'all can see. After I find the tab. Here it is. All right. Stop screen share. Start screen share. This is a site that I use. Okay. ETFDB. Zoom in. Okay. Here's what we'll do. We'll go to the screener tool. Okay. We'll go to fund flows. We'll go year to date. Let's get rid of the leverage crap. We don't care about leverage because those are meant to be trading instruments, not buy and hold. Okay. Look at this. Top funds with the most inflows in the first 6 months and a couple of days of the year. All right. We have a NASDAQ composite fund, an S&P 500 fund, total market fund, Russell 1000 growth, S&P 500, total bond, Vanguard value, emerging markets. This is all plain vanilla, right? Boring. XLF financials, that's interesting. Another total bottom one. And then boom, ARKK. So it's in the top, what is it? Number 10, 1, 2, 3. Number 11. You have a top 10 of all plain vanilla. Then you've got the XLF, and you've got ARKK right there, right? So a lot of still buying happening of this fund. Very interesting. So, Rodrigo, you asked about ARKK. This is a huge endorsement. This is a huge endorsement of Cathie Wood, that her flagship fund was still among the leaders in inflows in the first half of the year. Okay, back to Pro. That's enough of that. Theater guys looking at staff, which just took off again. I wonder if Ryan is oh, wow, look at that. Yes, it did. Ooh. All right, we broke above that area from March. At least we're trying. Yeah, we're above it. Nice call out, theater guy. Nice call out. Theater guy talking about, yeah, you know what, theater guy? We are coming into hurricane season. You're exactly right. We are coming into hurricane every year, every July. I always look at Generac. Oh, what a run. Gosh. Let's zoom out. Every year, I always look at Generac into hurricane. Guys, okay. Let's zoom way out. We'll go to a weekly chart here, okay? All right. Let's see what we did last year. In what was a funky year. Do we have any seasonality in July? Yeah. Strong July, strong August for Generac last year. Let's go back the week prior, okay? Or the year prior. Generac. Where are we? Strong June. Nah. Media average July. Strong August. Okay. Go back to 2018. Seasonality. What do we got? No, not really much happening in July. Kind of a little big green candle there at the end of July. Nice pop though, early September, right? So hurricane season goes when? Mid-July to end of September, broadly speaking, right? So you did hit the high of the year, the week of September 10th, 2018. Let's go back to 2017. Oh, look at that. Look at that run in August and September. Again, well, high of the year was actually October, but nice run during hurricane season. We'll go back one more year. This is fun for me. Nope, not much. Not much. Okay, so anyway, you do have a seasonality trade here. Hurricane season. God, this thing has come so far. Oh man. Okay, so it's come so far, so fast. Broke out to new all-time highs. Still, though, there is a seasonality trade here to make in Generac. We've seen it. We just went through the last 4 years, right? Hurricane season tends to get some buying pressure. This is one I'm gonna put this on my watch list right now. Otherwise, I'll forget to watch it. I may throw a trade on that. Just a seasonality trade. All right. Very interesting. Thanks for the call out, theater guy. Drew, you back?
I am.
Okay, cool.
Had to grab a charger real quick. What do you guys think of United Wholesale Mortgage? Kind of a company I was just pulling up there. A little comp to RKT, maybe?
Oh my God, what is happening today? Is that news on that? News
Stock
me.
has been
News
stock
me.
is beat around.
We got a rating today, just an initiation. Thinking about it, GNRC is going on the calendar for right now. We're coming into hurricane season. It just started. I don't think you're too late in Generac.
Gotta buy before the curve. I get it. If you want to buy.
Wait, Drew. Just to clarify, are you in this thing or what?
Yeah. So I bought this thing around IPO. It's IPO for $10. It was actually a SPAC, believe it or not.
Right.
And I've just sold calls on it continuously. So I might actually be up on the position. I sold a call for $11. It never broke through 11. Sold it for $1. So that brought my cost basis to like 9. And I've sold calls before. So I think I've actually made money on this stock. It's really killer for selling calls, but it's kind of just like doesn't really move. Goes up, comes right back down.
Yeah. Been pretty brutal. Pretty brutal.
Yeah. What about Shopify making not a nice move? I mean, 1.5%, but still going strong.
You know what's funny about the Shopify thing? So they had that event, right? They had that their big demo day.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Tuesday? Was it Monday? Monday or Tuesday? I don't remember what. And they announced that they're letting all developers on their platform who make less than $1 million a year. Shopify will not take any cut.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as that news hit, there was a red candle. Pretty sure that was it. Pretty sure that was it. That red candle from a couple of days ago. I don't know. I just thought that was funny. It's like objectively, everyone was cheerleading. What a great move for Shopify to encourage small businesses, and here's Wall Street like sell.
Yeah,
interesting.
I mean, they're definitely gonna make less revenue. So they charge a monthly subscription fee though. So are you still getting that? I think you're still getting that.
I don't know. I'm just, remember that. Okay, wait. It's been too long. When I go back to Boeing here, how's Boeing trading? Let's go to a bigger chart here. BA. Okay, 1 minute chart. Okay. Oh, that's encouraging. All right. Is there more news on Boeing? Any developments? Hop into the news feed. Come on. There we go. Boeing chart. Okay. Here we go. More headlines. Let's go. News desk is all over this. So as a report from the Hawaii News went down at 7:45 a.m. Eastern time. FAA confirmed the cargo jet had 2 people on it. Pilots were both rescued. Okay, this is a tweet from the VP of the Pentagon Press. Freighter version of the 737, not the 737 MAX model that was involved in a couple of those crashes that were devastating those a couple of years ago here. So cargo plane, not the same model that had all those problems. And it appears both people on board were rescued. Great to hear. We are bouncing. Hard.
Have you looked at Newegg today?
I saw it on top of my scanner.
NEGG.
Yeah, it's number 1 on my scanner.
30%.
Why? Do you know why?
Halted.
Why was it halted?
Yeah. I think it was just pretty.
Oh, it just volatility halt? Okay, yeah. I got it. Yeah, what? Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Sheesh. Yeah, I don't see any new.
Are you in this? What's going on?
I am not.
Okay.
Interesting business model. I've been on the website a couple of times to buy various computer parts, but never a stock I would really think about buying until maybe now. How about you? Have you thought about ever buying them, or you have an opinion?
No. I have no opinion on NEGG. Never heard of it before this week.
Yeah, they do pretty good sales on tech and whatnot. So it kind of makes sense that this does not make any sense, but it could be a decent stock. A year ago, it was just $1. Not even. Holy crap! Wow.
The Thinker. How much for Benzinga Pro? What does it include? That depends on which tier you get. Let me share my screen. There's the basic. There's the essential. And then there's the options mentorship that includes Nick Shaheen's education there. Close this out. So you can see the basic is $99 a month. The essential is $177 a month. But also look, I will point your attention to the bottom of our screen here. We have a ticker running a special. Get 30% off and these are monthly rates. You can also look at annual. Annual essential is $117 a month, but with the promo code Benzinga30, you'll get a 30% off of that subscription. What does it include though? Is again, there are all the fees. This is pro.benzinga.com/pricing, by the way. And here's all the features included in each level, in each tier of Pro. Pro.benzinga.com/pricing. Let's go back. Oh, I stopped my screen share. Don't do that. I do want to mention, guys, SPAC Attack is up next. They got a great show today. They're going to talk all about how to trade SPAC warrants, right? We know that these SPAC units, they come with shares of common stock. They come with warrants. It's a little bit complicated. Chris and Mitch and their guests are going to unpack how to actually trade these warrants. What do you do with them? What does it even mean? What does it all mean? Okay, so that's the subject of today's show. SPAC Attack will start right after we're done here at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. This stream will redirect to that show, so stay tuned for that. Theater Guy says he joined Benzinga Pro the last July 4th, and it was the best money he spent in the market. Thank you very much. Thoughts on MRIN? Oh, this has been a mover. MRIN. 1 minute chart. Okay. Wow. Let's go to a daily. Jeez. Got a doji candle today so far. It's early yet. Look at this volume, though. What is this? Just freaking Reddit? Is that what this is? Seriously, I'm asking you.
Oh, you're asking me?
No, I'm asking Tom White. Tom White. What is this? Is this Reddit? Is this Discord? What's going on here? Yeah, okay. And also, let's go here for a second. Double Trouble. Yeah. Double Trouble. Small caps. Luke Jacoby pointed this out to me. Small caps have just been not playing ball. Like, you can look at this and say, oh, we're like just off all-time highs. That's true. But now compare this to SPY. Compare this to Qs. And we'll zoom in. Okay. Let's just go since the start of May. No, let's go even start of June. Let's go the last month. IWM is your laggard. Right? It's lagging SPY, and they're both lagging the Qs. Tech has been a beast. Why? I don't know why. It's just rotation, right? For how many months was the IWM just like crapping all over SPY? Like, look at this. Go back to, was it July? Really, when it started? Like late summer, early fall, right? Look at this thing. We'll just pick our starting point. IWM is destroying the other indexes since last summer. But this rotation it's always a cycle, right? So it's a continuous cycle. And for the moment, IWM is your laggard, right? Let me just zoom in. There we go. It's your laggard. I don't know why. It's just the way the market works. But it's a great observation, Double Trouble. What else? Drew, you in AMD?
I am not. Are you?
No. Someone in chat asked about this. Who asked it? Jordan asked about AMD. That means we're weak yesterday. Not so weak today.
I was checking out Skyworks today. I used to have a position in them. They're moving pretty strong.
WS, what the? I'm blanking on the ticker.
I believe it's
WKS. Jeez. All right.
Yeah, so I mean, Skyworks pretty big supplier for Apple. Apple's up. So I don't know if it's just kind of moving with that, if there's any more news, but Yeah, I think semis have been extremely strong. There was that shortage and whatnot, so could be a nice continuation play from that. But I could also see pretty decent sell off.
Zachary's asking why SWBI is down. Well, I mean, it's taking a breather, man.
Smith & Wesson. I was gonna actually buy puts.
This thing has been a freaking monster. Let's zoom way out, okay? Smith & Wesson does not make moves like this. This thing,
I never got puts on them today.
It went from 20 to 39 in what? A week? 2 weeks. Okay, it doubled in 2 weeks. This stock does not make moves like that. It just doesn't. It's had its 2 biggest weekly candles ever. It's got to come back. It's got to take a breather. That's how these things work. All right. If you can take the pain, if you can take the pain of the breather, which today you're obviously getting smacked around a little bit, like it definitely can resume going higher. It can resume going higher. For sure. Normally I'd say get the hell out, but this year all bets are off, okay? I would have said GameStop is done, AMC is done, and they came back. I don't really have any I don't have any real valuable insight here other than to say if you can't take the heat, then get out of the kitchen. Okay, this is a mover. It's right. If it's all fun and games when you go from 20 to 40 in a week. Now we've given back half those gains in the day and change, right? So, I mean, it's par for the course.
Yeah.
Frankly, what more do you want? It went from 20 to 40 in a week. What more do you want?
Yeah, I think this thing's all talk, no walk. I mean, I know fourth quarter sales were unbelievable, but listen, when you have a presidential shift from Republican to Democrat, you're going to see gun sales spike. When there's a pandemic, you're going to see gun sales spike. You know, there's all these overlapping factors in my eyes. Gun sales have been dropping. You know, they dropped 50% in the last 50 years.
Right.
I think like it's a long-term trend, obviously, that we're betting against, but you know, in the short term, I think you could definitely see some profit taking, right? This thing's been a dog in a hot market. I mean, I don't like it.
Yeah. It's a weird thing because bad news is always good news, right? For this, because any threat of regulation and the market's thought is not, oh, that's bad. It's, oh, everybody and their mother is about to run out and buy a gun before this happens, and that's good. It's a bad news. It's no. That's how the market thinks. That's how the market thinks, right? Like here, let's just zoom out. What happened in November when Biden? Let's see. Let's look at election day. Do we have anything? No. No. I don't even know. Was this election day? I don't know. Was that when was election day? Let's Google it. It was November 3rd. All right. So actually, well, we didn't really know who won in the immediate aftermath. So maybe not the best example, but historically, bad news is good news for these stocks. Anyway,
I hear you.
Yeah. What else? Let's go back to my scanner. Again, watching Boeing, watching Tesla, which double top in your face, everyone. 700 stuffed. How many buy orders are there at like 701? Right? I mean, we can go look in our and whatever platform you're in, just go to time and sales, or look at the level 2. We're not going to do that right now, but 7. There's just people lining up to sell this thing at 700. Right? Yeah. That's a funny one, WK. All right. Google. Well, we know tech is ripping. So, yeah. Friend is friend. Oh, my gosh, Google. Google and Facebook, right? And Amazon. Today is Jeff Bezos' last day as CEO of Amazon.
And then he's going to space.
And he's going to space. Speaking of space, We told you. This is a silliness. Just because Virgin Galactic is going to beat Blue Origin by like a week, right, or 9 days, whatever. That's why it popped after hours, was because they moved up their flight with Branson. This is stupid. This is dumb.
Yeah, I got a text last night from I used to run a Discord. Someone texted me, and he's like, "Do you think I should keep my calls?" And I'm like, "No."
Although, okay, so here's the binary event. So what is it? July 11th. That's what they announced, right? July 11th. Richard Branson's going to space, and he's going to space, right? He's going to the edge of the atmosphere, more or less. All right. If it goes well, what happens to space, to the stock SPCE? If it goes great, let's say it's
higher.
It's a great success. Does it go to 60? Or the flip side, if something goes wrong, anything goes wrong at all, big, small, whatever, major malfunction, minor malfunction, anything goes wrong, what happens? Does it go to 40, 35? I'm asking you because I don't know.
Oh, you're asking? Yeah. If there's like something pretty bad, I would say 30s is pretty fair and below. But yeah, this thing is literally just that. And after that event, what's going to happen, right? People are going to buy in. It's going to be hype, and then it's just going to fade. In my opinion, I mean, that's what's happened in the past. This thing has no continuation, right? There's one event every year, and then cool. All right, let's get back. Maybe we'll dish some more shares out and try and build a rocket.
Sell some more shares to fund other rockets. Yeah. I'm with you, Happy. It's the risk to reward ratio is not there, and Drew's point is right. These moves get faded. These pops get faded all the time. It's happening today, and faded today.
Yeah.
Fade the news, sell the news, fade the pop. Yeah, I'm out. For that reason, Drew, I'm out.
All right, I just bought puts on Smith & Wesson. Said I was going to do it.
How much were they?
I bought the August. They were pretty expensive. IB's high, but
Jesus.
as you can imagine.
For when?
For August 20th. I got like a month.
All right. You got some time.
Some days.
What strike?
I bought the third. I just bought it at the money.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. We'll see how she goes. I know there's a lot of Reddit. I know there's a lot of a lot of people that FOMO into
Dude,
it.
that takes balls because you know it can double in a week. You just saw it happen, right?
I mean, yeah, it's a valid point. It takes something, but I don't know. I think any investor that's been holding this thing is probably going to want to start dumping on the way down.
All right. You want to hang out with Brent right now, the head of our news desk? Let's bring on Brent Slava, the head of our news desk, the Brentster. Brentster, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Spence?
How's it going?
What's up, Drew?
How we doing?
Doing well. What you guys up to?
We're talking about Drew's. Drew just bought puts on Smith & Wesson, and talking about that, talking about Boeing, talking about Tesla, talking about Virgin Galactic.
Nice.
Talking about stuff.
What was you guys want to review the Boeing thing real quick?
Yeah. You guys were crushing. Let me go to the news. You guys were crushing all those Boeing headlines here. So,
dude, thank you. It felt that way. So I'm glad you thought that.
No, there's more. Wait, what did I miss in the last couple of minutes? No, I saw that already. Okay.
So I think what was important. Okay, so Spence, you probably are going to share this sentiment, but
yeah,
I think we hear this headline first. A trader's first reaction is, "Oh my God, was it a 737 Max?"
Yes.
Right? Did you guys talk about this?
Yes,
a little bit. Yeah.
So I think that's kind of like that initial dip, and then if it's not a Max, okay, it's still a 737. Boeing does not need any more issues with their planes, right? I think that was definitely like the initial reaction. Then we start getting, and here's where context is so important. Here's where context is absolutely a part of the news process that every trader needs. So we start getting a little bit more details out, and I think those were some of the headlines that you were seeing, Spence. We hear that there's a plane down. It doesn't say crash. Okay, that's probably a better thing. And then we hear that it was something for an engine trouble. And then we hear that it was a cargo plane. Okay, it wasn't a commercial passenger jet. That's obviously important. We hear, then we get actually a little time frame. We start getting the first report. I think it was from like Hawaii News that had the first report. We start hearing that, okay, this was at least a few hours ago. Looks like it went down about 7:45 a.m. You would assume that if this was some kind of major down or crash, we probably would have heard about it a lot quicker. Do you think that, Spence?
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes,
and then we hear, okay, there was only 2 people on the plane. The pilots were rescued. And I'm looking over my headlines here in Benzinga Pro, kind of walking you through these. And then we start digging on the news team. We start digging a little bit further. Then we start going like, okay, well, can we confirm the type of aircraft that it was? There was a tweet that we found from a guy named Markus Weisgerber. He is editor at Defense One. It looks like he's a vice president at the Pentagon Press. He's tweeting that this was a freighter version of the 737. It's not a newer MAX model. Okay, cool. That's that first concern that we wanted to address. So it doesn't look like it's that. And then we see a tweet from another source who's saying that this was a Transair plane. This is a cargo airline. They only operate 737-200s. And mind you, these planes are a good like 20, 30, 40 years old potentially. So, I mean, yeah, Boeing is still down a little bit, down about 1% here, but I mean, this thing's came back, a good $4 or $5 over the course of the last hour.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's kind of like a sort of visual the chart is sort of like a visual representation of a lot of this context unfolding in the market.
Yeah, I mean, your logic, your thought process is exactly the thought process that the market is having, right? One, okay, it's Boeing, terrible news, but
right,
even the phrasing, plane down like in the water,
didn't call it a crash right away, right?
Yeah, it was not a crash, right? Okay, so is it the same plane that's had problems? No.
There you go. Check it off the checklist, right?
Is it a commercial passenger jet? No.
Check it off the checklist. Yeah.
People on board rescued and safe. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess so. I watched the report by Phil LeBeau. He's CNBC's transportation reporter. He's one of the better reporters out there. I think he saw that Hawaii Now report, but from like Wall Street Media, I think he was kind of one of the first people to break this news this morning. He said that the pilots started detecting that there was some kind of engine issue and turned the plane around to go back to the airport to land. Didn't make it, so had to, the way he said it, like set it down in the water. And right away you're like, okay, awesome. Seems like things were relatively controlled. Better news, at least not horrible news.
That's what the chart reflects. Exactly what the chart reflects.
Cool little way to walk through this news item. Again, how kind of the news is unfolding and why I think we would highlight this process to the listeners out there is, I mean, this is what I think a lot of traders need to be doing when this kind of stuff happens. You see an initial reaction and then you kind of start digging in, doing a little bit more research. 100%. You can definitely depend on the Benzinga Pro news team to help you with some of that. But we also want to, in the news feed, Spence, you can see there's like links and stuff. There's white and gray headlines, but if you click into these things, there's links here. What the news team is trying to do is we want to get you, if you can't dive deeper into some kind of research, we want to help you do that research. But if you do want to do some further research than maybe what the news team even is doing, we want to provide you with the sources that we're looking at so that users out there, traders, can kind of dig into this kind of stuff themselves.
Yeah. I mean, all you guys see here is you see 7 or 8 headlines, but what goes into those headlines is a lot of It's phone calls. It's scraping social media. It's research. It's a lot of wording is important, right? Words matter, right? So it's a lot of back and forth to get to this point, right? To get to the point where we can constantly put out these headlines and be and feel good about them, right? So all you guys see is the dozen or so headlines, but the work that goes into this is I think tremendously underappreciated. So you guys did a great job with that.
Well, thank you, Spence. And just a little opportunity here to highlight, we on the news team, we absolutely try to be super deliberate about some of the things you're saying. If it's a news item confirmed by a corporation or a source, we are going to call it news. If it's still a report, it's still something that a publication heard about, or it's circulating on social media, we will use those pieces of language. We'll say report, we'll say chatter, we'll say circulating on social media. We will say the word circulating in our headlines and in our squawks super deliberately, because what happens sometimes, I know you guys know this, is a news item will hit and it just doesn't get any traction. And then an hour later, 2 hours later, people start passing around social media, start passing around Wall Street, and the stocks start moving. And what we want to alert people to is, yes, this is moving on this right now, but heads up, this was already out there. There's a chance that some of this could have been already priced in before that kind of circulation happened. Another thing we're super deliberate about is, and we do a good job with this, but we absolutely need to do a better job, in my opinion, is the timing of things. When you see a headline going into Benzinga Pro and there's no indication of some kind of prior timing, you can be sure that this is something that's happening right now, and you could potentially trade on it. If it was something that was out within the last 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and it didn't cross our radar until just now, we'll say the phrase recent or recently announced, something like that. If it was much earlier, like an hour or 2 or 3 or 12 hours earlier, we'll, in a headline, in a squawk, say this was reported earlier. We'll use that word earlier.
All right, great insights from Brent and the rest of
the
desk. Fantastic job, guys. Any final thoughts for us, Brent? I'm about to wrap it up here.
Cool, man. No, thanks for thinking of the news team and wanting somebody from the news desk to pop on, Spence. Appreciate it, man. You guys have a good day. Later, Drew.
Have a good weekend. Drew, any final thoughts before you go?
Smith and Wesson is coming back, so I might be exiting.
Wait. What was the stock we had last time? Was it Wish or was it something else?
FCX. I bought puts on that.
No. It was like 2 weeks ago. You were on with me. You made a trade. I think it was Wish.
I did Wish and I did FCX.
No, it was Wish, and right after you bought it started ripping, right?
Yeah. That was nice.
Okay, cool. All right, Drew Levine is Benzinga's intern extraordinaire, and
Chief Intern Officer, baby.
Chief Intern Officer. That's right. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for checking out.
Of course, appreciate you calling me. Put me on the show.
Okay, guys, if you are into SPACs, you're on Twitter, you are probably familiar with the Twitter account @SPACWarrants, right? @SPACWarrants. SPAC Warrants will be on the show today with Chris and Mitch coming up in about 3 minutes, talking all about warrants, understanding them. What even is a warrant? How do you trade it? How does it factor into the stock, the common stock? It's a whole thing. It's complicated, but they're going to break it down for you right here on SPAC's Tech at 11 o'clock. This stream will redirect to that. You don't have to do anything. Looking ahead to the rest of today's schedule, we have the Power Hour on at noon today. As always, Lou Jacoby will be on from noon to 1. We got Ross Gerber on the show today, guys. Tesla bull. I saw on his Twitter that he was driving around in the Plaid. I'm sure we're going to ask him about that. He seemed to think it was the greatest car ever. He does have a new ETF that opens today. Ticker is GK. So we're going to talk about that as well. So Ross Gerber on Power Hour at 12:30. We've got no Get Technical today. Or I think for the rest of this week, because Neil Hamilton is on a much-deserved vacation. But, guys, super excited for Moon or Bust today, okay? 2 o'clock, Moon or Bust on this channel. We are talking to the admin of the Shiba Inu Discord. And if you're on Twitter, you know her as @ShibaTokenCat. and we're talking all about Shiba Inu on the Moon or Bust show today, 2 o'clock Eastern time. The very first coin listed on Coinbase that'll be on our show, or at least representative of that. I guess there's no representative, but one of the representatives of that coin on the show today, 2 o'clock. All about Shiba Inu today, Moon or Bust. I mentioned Zinger Stock Trivia earlier. I played the little clip. That'll be at 3 o'clock today at the close with Joel and myself, 3:30 to 4. Money Mitch at 4. And wrapping up the week, technically options with Brad Weber at 5 o'clock. Wow. We've been on here for 3 straight. Actually, we've been on since 7 a.m. today. Mike Rao was on. I've been on with you since 8 a.m. It's been a pleasure. I hope you all are having a good, profitable day. I am not, but that's okay. I had fun hanging out with you all. Please remember that all the information from our show is meant to be used for informational purposes, not for investing or trading advice. Once again, Benzinga Pro, discount at the bottom, pro.benzinga.com. Get a free 2-week trial. Get a discount on your annual subscription using the code. There it is, Benzinga 30. Chris Cathie wanted to hop on and say a quick word. Chris, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, Spencer? Yeah, I just wanted to say SPACs attack today. We're talking SPAC warrants. We've got an expert in the warrant field. I know a lot of people have been asking, for more coverage of warrants. It's a high risk, high reward trade, similar to options. So join us over on SPACs attack starting up right now.
Starting up right now. I'm going to kick you off so you can go do that. All right. SPACs attack up right now. Thanks to our guest today, Markus Heitkoetter. And actually, we had a bunch of guests today. We had Markus, we had Sam Corey, we had Ryan, we had Drew, we had Brent. It was a full show today. Thanks to all of you for hanging out with me. I'm going to go have my second cup of coffee, and I'll be back to watch the SPACs attack show all about warrants coming up right now.